that's why it's really important to have a plan. Have a plan and understand what your goals are.
In fact, my camel out there is suffering right now with a broken back.
So I actually found Pepe when it was only a couple of hours old, and I'm like, oh, this is a funny meme.
Oh my god.
Yo! Who is this Degen?
The old man is swing trading over years at a time. And it's like, that's where the real money is made.
The answer is a permanent loss. With single-sided staking, you don't have to worry about impermanent loss.
If you're aware, if you're disciplined, you can hone that into further financial growth.
Financial freedom. So we can actually live life and not have to be constantly living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, that's the ultimate goal, more or less, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crypto degenerates, ducks and squirrels, welcome to this here Whiskey Wednesday. Ask Me Anything going on the 14th of August. Happy birthday to all my August 14thians out there, and I hope you guys are all having a great day. We're having a great day here. We're going to be talking about a couple short things, some political stuff, some possibly numbers things. I'll give a little bit of a more in-depth update on Coast, as I had mentioned both last week on the Whiskey Wednesday show and the Sunday show. But yeah, we're hanging out. We're having a good time. I am currently drinking from my bullet cup. I'm drinking some Bacardi Lemon, going real fancy on you guys with this super duper expensive vodka, as well as some delicious Soleil sparkly waters on the side. I hope you guys are drinking some excellent things and having a good time as well. I'm going to go ahead and welcome my panelists. We got Zenith, we got Nate McGettit, and we got Brendan here. For the folks at home who don't know, Zenith is a little bit of a jack of all trades, master of none. He does a little bit of hosting, runs the book club. He does a little bit of producing on the side. Zenith, you can catch him doing just about anything. Nate McGettit over here, he focuses a lot on, I almost said technical analysis, but that's totally Jay's thing. Nate focuses on a lot about liquidity providing in different ecosystems in the cryptocurrency space. And then Brendan over here, he focuses a lot on the macroeconomics and things going on at high level government and things of that nature. So, gentlemen, welcome. Thanks for joining me tonight. Mr. Zenith, what is new and exciting with you, my friend?
Not much. I am sipping on a good White Claw. By the way, this is Black Cherry White Claw, the best flavor. I will take that one to the grave. By the way, the original White Claw flavor tier list goes as such. We have Black Cherry, we have Lime, then there's a bit of a gap, and then we have Ruby Grapefruit, and Raspberry is clearly at the bottom.
Whoa!
I'm just
whoa!
I'm throwing it out there.
Whoa!
I have argued I've argued this point and this tier list for literal hours.
Okay, I'm just gonna say that you might be drunk because I think you have it 100% backwards. Raspberry,
Whoa.
grapefruit, lime, and the bottom, black shitty cherry.
Nope, Black Cherry best. Black Cherry best. I will tell you this because it has the best artificial fruit flavor. It is not too bitter. It is not too sweet. Lime is a classic alcoholic beverage flavor. Again, more towards the bitter side of the house, but has a good flavor and has a good, I guess, bitterness to it. Ruby Grapefruit, this is where it really drops off. Ruby Grapefruit has the correct amount of bitterness that goes with alcoholic beverages. Raspberry has neither of those. It just has fake, bad raspberry flavor. Therefore, bottom tier. Bottom of the barrel.
Wait. Zenith, Black cherry has the most fake flavor out of all of them. And it's the sweetest. It's too sweet.
It's not what you're looking for.
Okay.
Is your gin and tonic sweet?
Hey, I've got a way to settle this.
Yes, tonic is sweet because it has quinine in it.
Our meeting is going to be our meetup is going to be so much fun.
Yes.
Yep.
Because it's sour mix.
Good.
No, it's sour. Right. It's not sweet. That's the point.
If it ain't straight, it's sweet.
I'm going to have to mute you guys here. I'm going to have to hop into my producer slot and then hit the mute button and mute the entire panel. Anyways, before we get caught up into talking about different types of sweetness and flavors and all sorts of crazy things, we got two other panelists to introduce. and to see what's going on in New England and deciding with them. And I'll go ahead and put this debate to an end right here, right now. And I'll say some people like gay sex, some people like straight sex, some people like pickles in their hamburger, some people don't. You're all fucking wrong. Every single fucking one of you is wrong because you're not drinking water, which is the only thing that people should be drinking ever. And that's all I got to say. Mr. Nate McGettit, broski, what is new and exciting with... What's that?
White Claw is seltzer water.
That's true. It is. You're right. And I'm just trying to ruffle some feathers here. But before I ruffle any more, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Mr. Nate McGettit. Broski, what is new and exciting with you? And what are you sipping on, bro? And let's get in a fight over that. I'm going to go ahead.
Okay. So what's new with me is that it's just simply lots and lots and lots of work, a lot of behind the scenes stuff that I'm kind of working on, kind of jumping around. Also, I went on a tear today on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. And I released a ton of information. So if you're not following me on there, you're missing out on a lot of good information that can help you out, as well as some fun stuff too. What am I sipping on? Spotted Cow. So this here is a beer that is only made in Wisconsin. It is one of the best beers I have ever tasted. And yeah, I'm enjoying myself right now.
If I were to find a beer that was named Spotted Cow and it wasn't like some sort of creamy, milky flavor to it, then I would be disappointed. Nate, is this some sort of stout? Is it like an IPA? Is it a pale ale? What kind of
It's a pale, yeah. It's a pale ale. It does have a little hint of orange flavoring. So it's just absolutely fantastic. However, you are correct. The whole milky thing that is Tippy Cow, and that's another one only from Wisconsin. It comes, yes, and it's comes in so many different flavors. It's just so good. It's the best. It's like the best stuff look it up, man. It's like the best stuff you'll ever have. And again, it's like obviously they expand a little bit further, around the Midwest area. But, it's only made in Wisconsin. And like when you go out to Wisconsin, every single store has this stuff. So, yeah, it's absolutely fantastic.
Okay. Excellent. But man, I'm going down a little bit of a rabbit hole here, but that's irrelevant because we still got one guest and he's got some opinions apparently. Mr. Brendan, what's new and exciting with you, bro? And what are you drinking? Because I know you're drinking some raspberry claws over there. You're just trying, or not you're drinking some black cherry claws. You're just trying to keep it on the DL off screen.
Look,
so that's what I'm sure is happening.
I'll drink any seltzer, Will. I'll drink anything that has alcohol in it, pretty much, almost. I will just say it really doesn't matter because White Claw is like so inferior to almost every other seltzer brand that it doesn't even make sense to make a tier list of it because they're all at the bottom to begin with.
All right, what is a better seltzer brand?
Well, it used to be Truly until they changed their recipes to try to taste like White Claw. But Truly originally, when I first started drinking seltzers 15 years ago, Truly's came in glass bottles. They were the best seltzers ever made. They were the first, them and Spike Seltzer, which are rebranded as Bomb and Viv now. I can give you the entire history of alcoholic seltzers through the last 20 years. But we don't have time for that. So yes,
I mean, I'll be honest. This sounds like something I definitely want to dive into, which is that like there was a point where seltzers did get popularized. I want to say it was like the same summer I saw like the Churtleys dude made like a short or a reel or whatever talking about White Claws and the whole ain't no laws if you're drinking claws thing.
Yeah, that was a big one.
I want to say like 2019.
I want to say it was even further back, like 2017, 2016. Because it was way before I moved to Miami, and I moved to Miami in 2019. But I'm sipping on right now a local gin from Miami called Big Cypress Distillery. This specific gin, their Lemon City gin, is not available anymore. They asked me if I could give them back the bottle because they love it so much, and I had a full bottle until I just opened it. But I told them no. I went there 2 days ago. But it's very good. This was batched on October 22nd, 2021, and they switch up their recipes. But this is a very good one. I am drinking it with a large ice cube. And look, I'm just here to have fun tonight. There's been a lot of stuff going on in the world, and I'm just here to have some fun with all of y'all.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear
it. That's talking shit about seltzers.
So On that subject, real quick. So what I want each of you guys to do is I want each of you to give me a quick little blurb of some things that you want to talk about tonight, and I'll go ahead and write them down because I'm a good host, and that way I don't forget things. But we'll go around the horn again, starting with Zenith. Is there anything that you want to talk about tonight, broski?
Is it too boring to say I want to talk about the inflation data, or is that a
inflation
given?
data? All right. I'm writing it down. Is that it?
I love how you're like, is it too boring?
It's not too boring.
Well, that's my usual stick.
It's what you want to. It's what you want to talk about, bro. You could tell me you want to talk about anime cat girls or something, and I'd be like, okay, I'll write it down. Now, whether I throw the
we don't have to talk
conversation your
about
way,
anime cat girls or anything, but I am just gonna say I am thoroughly enjoying. It's too early in the stream to be slurring already. Oh god. I am enjoying Wistoria, Wand and Sword. It is an anime that is currently premiering this season. It's pretty much it's like a dystopian future Harry Potter Hogwarts, except there's a kid who doesn't really know how to use magic. So instead, he just is like, all right, I guess I got this sword and we're just going to beat the shit out of everything. So
that's Berserk, my dude. Excellent.
Says, get out, nerds. Well, it's actually a lot of different shows. I think it's Black Clover it's the synopsis of that one. It's the Mashley is the other one of that, but that one's definitely a comedy.
Fucking Mash, I love it.
Berserk. I feel like there's a lot more I'm talking.
I've written down anime, so we're gonna touch on
it's
anime.
A trope.
I will guarantee that
we'll
we're
talk
gonna talk about anime tonight. Nate, is there anything that you want to talk about, broski?
Yeah. Came across some very interesting things. I find it very fascinating, kind of where this election is going, because it's like all of a sudden in the world we get these things popping up, like all Americans got their social security stolen or hacked and stolen, basically, and then like all of a sudden there's an outbreak of monkeypox that the Global Health Organization now deems a world crisis. It's like, haven't we been there before? So I don't know. It seems like there's a bunch of things that are just kind of popping up right now that I don't know about that. And then on top of it too, there's also the MetaMask deal, which I think is a little bit dystopian, but they're trying to hide it, and I'll explain why. I kind of got a theory on it.
I got you.
Everything's dystopian, big dog.
Election, social security.
Have you heard of UK and what they're doing right now?
Well, I was going to say that this 4-year election cycle is brought to you by Black Mirror, but that's not over there.
That's a good comparison. I like that. Brendan, is there things you want to talk about today, broski?
Yeah, I want to talk about the start of football season. I want to talk about J.J. McCarthy hurting his knee, out for the season. I want to talk about all the sports balls. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
Although football is a good topic, I don't think that's what I'm interested in talking about tonight. Look, like Zena said, some boring macroeconomic stuff. I think it's important to talk about since CPI numbers dropped. Anything to do with anime, video games, liquor, and
we do have a person in the green room right now that I am very excited to talk about a particular Web3 game about, and that is Illuvium, because we had the launch on July 25th, and I don't think we've really touched it since then. And I know that our good friend has actually played a good bit of it, so I want to get his take on that.
Okie dokie. I cannot see because I'm not in the green room, so I'll check the private chats here in a minute.
Spoiler alert, it's Mr. Angry Twinkie himself.
No kidding. Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna do a little round of chat shout outs, and then we'll fucking bring him onto the panel and we'll shoot the shit and stuff. Actually, Mrs. Producer, go ahead and throw that StreamYard link out into the public if you have not already done so. For the folks at home, if you guys want to hop on stream and chit chat with us about these fantastic topics of discussion, whether it be inflation data, anime, election, social security, monkeypox, MetaMask, macro CPI, video games, liquor, and JG hurting his knee or something like that, or whatever the hell the stuff was, fucking hop on over into that StreamYard link, and I'll do a better job of checking the private chat so that way I know who's in the green rooms and things. But we'll go ahead and start off with I'm going to toss it to Zenith and Brendan. We'll go ahead and start off with macro CPI and inflation data, and then Mrs. Maggetta, whenever you are ready, go ahead and bring in Mr. Angry Twinkie, because I'm sure that he has some excellent things to say about these two as well. I love watching him and Boogie talk about this stuff. So what do we want to cover first, inflation data or macro CPI, Brendan or
I mean, they're both they are one and the same, good sir. But if you do not mind with the screen share, I have it ready for you. Alrighty, here we go. From the Bureau of Labor Statistics themselves, we have the report for this month, which is AKA last month's numbers and how last month's looked. The CPI for all urban consumers increased 0.2% on a seasonally adjusted basis after declining 0.1% in June. Over the last 12 months, your year-over-year index inflation is 2.9%. If you remember, from last month, we had 3.0% inflation, which was ahead of schedule, because that month was supposed to be 3.1%. Instead, it was 3.0%, which was great news. The stock market and the overall, all markets, honestly, really enjoyed that and did well. And now we have this news coming out, and I think that it is confirmed by everything going on in the S&P 500 today as well. So here is the chart looking at this is the month per month increases. You'll see that June was the only month that we technically did go negative, which is that it came in lower than anticipated and prices actually slightly dropped, as opposed to your typical 0.2. Fun fact, a 2% inflation rate divided by 12 is about 0.08% per month. So just a little bit of context for you. And then here is the chart this is the important chart right here. This is the one that matters. This is your 12-month year-over-year percent change in inflation, and this has the CPI of everything, that's the blue line, and the purple line, that is all items less food and energy. This is core CPI, as they call it. This is the one that is mostly referenced by inflation statistics, and you'll notice that, look at the chart. Wow, that's a nice pure downtrend, as opposed to the all inflation, which includes food and energy costs, which are two very big movers in this case. Those have been kind of all over the place. We topped off at about 3.7% early in the year, and we've bottomed out at about 3.0%. This is the first month that we've dropped below 3.0% inflation in like 4 or 5 years. So before we had the massive spike, we've always been above 3% or right at 3%. We've now finally dropped below it. So that is some of the big news going on here. If you go down to the table, you'll see that one of the big declines was in used vehicles. Another one was in the energy sector. We had gasoline and other fuel oil types. And then I want to say shelter was also another one that declined a little bit. Actually, no, that one was pretty standard. I guess my news sources were wrong. That happens from time to time. But yeah, point of the matter is, the trend is continuing downwards in a good direction, and as a result, guess what? FedWatch tool, the interest rates for the next Federal Reserve meeting show that we're going to get a 1/4 point decrease as of right now. If you've been watching the show, you are probably very familiar with this chart because we pull it up all the time and show how it's kind of been changing a lot more rapidly than in the past, which is a bit concerning because it's traditional finance. And you're not supposed to move fast in traditional finance, but these predictions, which are based on the futures markets, have been moving very fast. Earlier in the month, it was actually set at the primary, or the most probable outcome was a 1/2 point drop. Now we are back into the territory of most probable outcome being a 1/4 point drop. This is also on the heels of, like, literally 2 weeks ago, everyone was calling for Papa Jerome Powell, head of the Fed, to conduct an emergency FOMC and drop the rates. I heard anything between they wanted the emergency drop to be a 1/2 point, 3/4 of a point, or even a full percentage point, which is apocalyptic, I'll say that much. And that's how people felt in the market. But outside of that, the stock market's been recovering. I think the inflation data is helping with that. So that is what's going on right now.
Excellent.
Gentlemen. You know,
is this hold on, guys. Before we go any further, I have to apologize to the folks at home because I have
did we skip it?
So selfishly ignored you guys and thrown the show completely off track.
Whoops.
So, like the helmsman grabbing the steering wheel and cranking it back to the correct direction to bring us back on track. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crypto degenerates, ducks and squirrels, it's time for motherfucking chat shoutouts, where we acknowledge you guys for being not only good listeners, but also good interactors and giving us all these fantastic comments with which we can bounce back and forth and stuff. And Mrs. Producer, feel free whenever the gentlemen behind the screen are ready, go ahead and bring them on, and we'll just carry right on into talking about inflation and macro. Ooh, larceny. Good choice, Zenith. We'll carry right on talking about inflation data and macroeconomics. It looks good. It comes in a cool bottle, and that's really all that counts. All whiskey tastes the same because it's all made of water. Anyways, and those are fighting words, Brendan. I see that your camera's gone.
White Claw tastes like Everclear. Yeah, there's
water. Oh, I'm here listening. I'm here listening. Shout-outs first. I'm going to be quiet.
I got to fall behind chat shout-outs, and then you can tear me to shreds, Mr. Brendan. But first and foremost, in the chats, we got Mr. Moon-Pilled Rational Optics swinging on in saying, getting ready for some good alpha. And sir, the only good alpha that you're going to get tonight is the alpha that is that water is the only thing that people should be drinking, and anything other than that, you're poisoning yourself, and you need to stop it, or else Santa's not going to deliver you any Christmas presents this year.
Will,
he can deliver you coal.
Will, is a human a beverage?
Yes, 90 or 78% beverage. Anyways, next up, we've got Moon-Pilled Rational Optics saying again, smash that like button. Oops. Smash that like button on the way in. You're absolutely fucking right, folks. Go ahead and hit that like button. It's straight down there. That's the only thing we want you doing tonight is smashing that like button. Next up, we got our very own Kenturian 54X. What's up, D-Gens? I'm on a roof drinking beer, getting ready for some solar panels tomorrow. Fuck yeah, bro. There's nothing quite like some rooftop beers. I miss having roof beers. I think I might have to I have to get a proper roof. I'm in a shipping container right now, but good shit, bro. Love to hear that you're on the roof having fun, doing great. Next up, we've got Hexpedition giving us the thumbs up, not one, not two, but 3 thumbs up. So thumbs up right back to you, Mr. Hex or Mrs. Hexpedition, whomsoever you might be. After that, we've got Paul Sachs saying, happy birthday, Will, with a chocolate cake, a party face, and some cheersing beers. When I said earlier, happy birthday to all August 14thians, I am not an August 14thian. My birthday is back in February. But thank you for the kind words, Mr. Paul Sachs. It's never too late to wish someone a happy birthday. Every day that you're alive is one more day that you're surviving the birthing process and living on the earth. So fantastic. And happy birthday to everyone out there who is an August 14thian. Next up, we got Kylo saying, have you guys been listening to Trillion X Spaces? I don't know what Trillion X Spaces are, but yeah, I'm sure that they're great people.
Yeah, it's very there's been a few controversial spaces lately that has been very interesting.
How do you have a controversial X space?
Well, you get controversial players. You get controversial players in there, right? And then you get the community that is either on that controversial person's side or not, and then you have basically them berate that one person, and then that person can try and defend themselves, and it just kind of goes a certain direction. Or you can have 2 people who hate each other get on and start fighting one another.
That is unfortunate. I don't like it I do like it when people fight, because that means that they're standing for something. But when people are fighting over stupid shit, then that's like, oh, well, you're just wasting energy. But speaking of energy, we've still got a couple more chat shout-outs to go, and then we'll turn it loose for Brandon to berate me talking about whiskey over here. We got our very own Degen Roundtable Dace Northall saying, what's up, gang? What's up to you too, good sir? Glad to see you joining us. Glad to see you in the chats. And I think you guys were doing an emergency stream on the Degen Roundtable earlier today, which I must say, for the folks at home who are not a part of our Telegram, what you need to do is you need to click on that little QR code or go to t.me/DRT join now. And what you will find over there is our Telegram community. And that's where you can catch up on some super cool alpha and hang out with everybody. All these folks in the chats, I'm pretty sure they're all a member of the Degen Roundtable community Telegram. I've gone ahead and dropped the link in the chats below. So if you guys want to just click on that link right there, t.me/DRT join now, you can hop on into our Telegram and you can hang out with Dace and hang out with Jay and hang out with the rest of the folks in the chats and everything. Unfortunately, it was happening during work today, so I had to bounce as soon as I hopped in. But I'm quite sure that they're talking about some great things. So good to see you, Mr. Dace Northall. Up next, we've got our very own Farmer J, Mr. Brown. Farmer J, not to be confused with Agent J. Farmer J is a good member of the Degen Book Club, and what he says is inflation is not existent when you just steal everything, and he's absolutely right. Or perhaps it could be also interpreted as like stealing everything is just inflation. But that's a good thoughts from our very own Farmer J. Up next, we got Mr. Angry Twinkie saying everything is a beverage if you liquefy it. For the folks at home who have those rocks and they squeeze the rocks really hard enough, you can eventually squeeze blood out of rocks. Mrs. Producer, would you go ahead and bring up Mr. Angry Twinkie? Thank you. Oh, yes. Excellent. Thank you. Yes, you can squeeze the blood out of a rock if you crush it hard enough. Most folks aren't strong enough to do so. So if you can't do it yourself, that's an indicator that you need to try harder.
That's next actually what if you're going to squeeze the juice out of a rock, what that's called is the core of the earth.
Yes, rock juice.
The blood of the earth.
That delicious, crispy, crunchy lava. Our favorite thing to drink. And actually, it's our second favorite thing to drink because water is the only thing that we drink over here at the Degen Round. As you can see, I have a glass full of clear liquid water for sure. Next up, we've got Don Function, who's going to be joining us shortly. Our very own Dev Donnie, Don Function, Degen Roundtable cage match series. Oh my God, yeah. We're going to probably be fighting through the webcams at some point. And it's going to be a fantastic time on our very first full crew meetup whenever that might happen.
Keep saying some dumb shit, and I'm going to jump right through this computer.
Jump right through it, bro. I would love to see it. We'll have a great time. Next up, we got Pulse Ray Vision for our very last chat shout out saying, hey, kids. What's up, Pulse Ray Vision? As I understand, he is in the back as well. So excellent. All right, I have checked.
I don't know if "Hey Kids" is as relevant as it used to be because I'm pretty sure the entirety of the Degen Roundtable is everyone is over 30 years old.
Not you. I think you're the youngest, man.
No 20-somethings. I am the youngest, but I'm 30 now. So.
Oh, you're 30 now. Okay, welcome to the big 3-0.
Speaking
Don't worry,
of,
my knees have been crunching for years.
Speaking of welcomes and crunchy knees, I want to welcome these three guests that we have here as well. We've got Mr. Pulse Ray Vision, we've got Dev Donnie, and we've got Mr. Angry Twinkie. So for the folks at home who don't know these guys, Mr. Pulse Ray Vision is a Pulse Chain community streamer. He used to be known as Hex Ray Vision, and he's coming up with his own little project thing, the agproject.io. Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Fucking Hex tattoo.
Nice.
Oh, I love it. Fuck yeah, bro. So yeah, so that this guy is formerly known as Hex Ray Vision, but he's Pulse Ray Vision. He's got his project, agproject.io. He'll probably talk about that quite a bit later. Up next, we've got Mr. Dev Donnie. He is the creator of Function Island, as you guys can see on his little logo there. He's also one of the main developers over there at the Degen protocol with BlackSheep, who
the main developer.
Yes. Oh, you are the. Oh, excellent, bro.
The
excellent.
One and
Fantastic.
only.
I like it. I like it. So yeah, we got Dev Donnie over there, our fantastic guy. You can find his stuff over at donfunction.pls.fyi. And then finally, we've got Mr. Angry Twinkie off in the corner. Mr. Angry Twinkie streams very often with our very own US Crypto Boogie. Some fantastic streamers in the space. Twinkie, if I'm not mistaken, you mostly stream about like macroeconomic events, a little bit about Illuvium, and you do some TA every now and again. Am I correct on that one?
Yeah, a little bit of guitar playing here, sprinkled here and there. Yeah, for sure.
Excellent.
That's about it.
Well, Twinkie, Donnie, and Pulse Ray, each of you guys in order. Are you guys sipping on anything tonight? Starting with Mr. Twinkie. What, you drinking anything, broski? You a water fan? Just like
I'm
me?
not a whiskey guy, so I'm a vodka guy. I got the Crystal Head Aurora vodka.
Oh, hell yeah.
Dude, Crystal Head is the best. What about you, Donnie? You drinking anything?
Yes, my good sir. I went and picked up some Canadian Club and Dry, but it's in the glass bottles, not the tin cans, because, you know, I do still have an element of class about myself.
Excellent. I love to hear it. Pulse Ray, what about you, bro? You drinking anything tonight?
I'm feeling pretty Mormon tonight. I'm just wearing sipping on this coconut drink with aloe vera. Like super healthy, but also a little bit of diabetes in it. So living
hell yeah, bro. I love to hear it. Well, welcome to the stream, guys. We're talking about macroeconomics and current inflation data and other such things. And Zenith, I don't know if you finished your entire spiel that you wanted to give, but did you have anything else for us before we open it up to the entire panel?
Nope, that was pretty much it. The news is that the trend continues, which is a very good thing. Although it's something we've been waiting for a hot minute, which is that inflation to steadily and continuously go downwards. So for everybody that missed it, inflation hit 2.9% on the year-over-year for total items, not the PCIe exclusionary one, but also the PCIe exclusionary one has also continued its steady downtrend. I think this is great news because it shows that inflation is getting back to where it should be, but also at the same time, this coincides very nicely with everyone and their mother calling for Jerome Powell to lower interest rates.
Gotcha. Well, I'm not sure what Jerome Bro is going to do, and I want to know if like Jerome ever gets sloshed before he starts doing his fun little speeches up there, because he's got that buttery smooth announcer voice. So you got to know that he's doing something. He's doping up some way somehow.
I don't know. I think he's just that guy. This is something we talked about in the Telegram back when we had the crash down to 54K Bitcoin or whatever. It was, all right, this is kind of time to see how Jerome Powell deals with pressure from the media, investors, and also political pressure. And it's like, he's been solid up until now. So if he calls an emergency meeting and changes rates based on people telling him to, it's not a great sign. But son of a bitch, he held strong. He held strong right through all of it.
He knows the wordings really well too. Like he's a good talker. I'll say that.
He's just solid, and he's a straight shooter, which is such a breath of fresh air.
Go ahead,
to grab a drink with him. Yeah, I'd like to grab a drink with him. You know, hopefully get him to loosen up a little bit off the record. Who knows? Maybe we'll invite him out next time some of us are passing through Vegas or whatnot. But as far as the CPI data there, I did not drill down into all the weighings. I did see Uncle Peter Schiff, for those not familiar with it. Uncle Peter was mentioning that the biggest contributor to that coming down was used vehicles dropping by about 11%. But Peter also, I believe, was claiming that auto insurance went up 18%. Now, I don't know those proportionate impacts on CPI, but I thought it was very fascinating.
Insurance doesn't really have any factors. There's a lot of things that might go up, but doesn't have factor on the CPI. I just want to remind people, we said in our emergency stream, when you change how you calculate inflation 3 times in an 18-month period, the numbers are going to say whatever you want them to say. And so in reality, you're probably like, it doesn't feel like inflation's gone down to 2 and change percent, because in reality, it probably hasn't. And
whatever happened to transitory? I thought that was the word.
Transitory inflation. That I laughed so hard when he said that in the beginning, and I'm still laughing to this day. So that was when Jerome Powell was saying it's transitory inflation. Means it's going up right now because there's bad stuff happening in the world, but it's going to automatically come down once the bad stuff stops happening. Nope, it's going to continue to go up, Sir Jerome. But nonetheless, I digress. The numbers were changed. The last time it was changed was October last year. It was changed in January last year. It was changed. Gosh, I forget the third time it was changed, but it's changed 3 times. It's changed 3 times since in the last 18 months, which is crazy. So the biggest one was in October. They changed how you calculate medical insurance, because medical insurance was probably going to show a 10% inflation rate. And they don't change the inflation rate for medical insurance until 6 months. So essentially every 6 months they would change the rate. So they didn't want to show a 5 to 10% inflation rate, because what would happen if that happened in medical insurance and it stayed for 6 months? Well, it would look bad. So they completely changed how they calculate that, how often they calculate it. And so therefore it looks really good. But inflation rates, again, take them with a grain of salt. But nonetheless, it is still how Jerome is making his decisions. I will give him a little bit of credit, though. I think that he realizes that they've changed how the inflation rates are calculated. He also knows that the government is still continuously printing money, aid to Ukraine, aid to Israel. And that injects a lot of money back into our economy. You're like, yeah, but we're giving that money to other countries. So it doesn't affect our inflation, except when we give that money to these other countries, what do they do with it? Oh, well, mostly they have to spend it on United States goods. So they have to buy things, weapons of war. They have to buy airplanes. They have to buy all this stuff from the United States. So it's literally a direct injection into our economy, which surely makes our economy look better, but also raises inflation. So when we turn the money printers, in quotations, back on, when we start reducing the interest rates, if we reduce them too quickly, we could see inflation shoot up rapidly again, which is why they've tempered their expectations to only a 25 basis point raise, 0.25%, because there are still a lot of pressure on the market from an inflationary standpoint. Most of the time they're looking for unemployment to be at 5+%. It's not even there yet, right? So there's a lot of factors that have to go into this. People are, again, as Zena said, we're calling for I laughed on Twitter, man. I was on everybody's Twitter laughing at them. 100% basis points. Are you ridiculous? First of all, an emergency meeting I didn't even think was going to happen, but 100 basis points, man, some people don't know how to work emotions through the market. So first time.
Yep. There's a lot of people on Twitter right now I've been seeing who are like, oh yeah, inflation is doing so well, but yet I still can't afford milk or eggs or whatever. And I'm sitting here like, yeah, that, I mean, it's not until they start easing, right? Once they start quantitative easing, they really turn on their money printers and they start directly injecting that into our economy, not just other economies out in different countries and stuff, in which then eventually will come back around, but you don't feel that for some time, right? It's not until that time where there's a lot of extra money for investors once it finally gets into their hands, right? That there's going to be a lot of extra money just in the economy in general that people are going to be able to start spending it. And that's when you're going to start seeing the alts going absolutely wild, especially risk on assets. That's going to be the big deal for them.
I like it. Speaking of risk on assets, we have a risk who's just joined us, the risky crypto black sheep. What's up, broski? What's new and exciting with you? And for the folks at home who don't know, crypto black sheep is the asshole in charge over there over at the Degen protocol, where they made the GOAT token. They do NFT validators for Pulse Chain. Yep. They've got like lottery tickets. They got all sorts of cool shit going on over there. Man. Speaking of a new thing, Donnie and Black Sheep, I would actually toss over to you guys for a second to talk about I want like a quick little one minute intro of the new stuff that you've created over there on the Degen protocol, specifically regarding LUSD.
Well, thanks for the warm welcome. Hello, gentlemen, and you take it away, Donnie.
Excellent. What up, brother? Thank you for joining in. So guys, so between Function Island and Degen Protocol, we've released a collaborative product which we are calling XLUSD. Right. Basically, in a nutshell, this is the same technology that you all know and love behind GOAT token, how GOAT treats W Pulse in the whole equation. Basically, it's the same deal, but XLUSD is the token that you get for interacting with this contract, and you put in LUSD in the middle of this contract. So roughly, GOAT is up only. You mint and redeem at a certain mint redeem price that is coded to only go upways, and all of the tokens in existence are single asset backed by the tokens inside of the contract. For GOAT, that's W Pulse. For XLUSD, that's obviously LUSD, right? But then, of course, you also have the fact that it's a regular ERC20 token. On mint and redeem, there is a 5% fee to transact with the base token and X token. On the DEX, there is no fees to buy, sell, or transfer, and thus, with these mechanics in mind, it encourages arbitrage between the two price points if there is a big enough spread. And naturally, because of the up-only mechanics coded inside of the up-only GOAT tech implemented on XLUSD, the price starts to ratchet strap upways with increased economic volume and incentivized activity. There you go.
I like that, bro. You got like a little list of bullet points, and I don't know if you're reading off of them or if you got that all up here, bro. But that was,
I've recited it that many times; it's in the top of my head now.
That's good shit. Yeah. So, like, for those of you who don't know, that with their GOAT token, it's basically like it's the same thing. Like he was just saying, it's backed off of Pulse, just like their XLUSD is backed off of LUSD, and that's like the copy, right? It was forked over from.
Did you say LSD? This is Whiskey Wednesday, brother. Come on.
LUSD. So, we might have some oh man, I'm not going to talk about that. Anyways,
Whiskey Wednesday, not Wacky Wednesday.
Your guys' GOAT token is doing fantastic. I remember when I first hopped in there, it was like 1.25 ratio against Pulse, and now like we're sitting up at like 1.4. So it literally only goes up against Pulse because of the way that like your guys' smart contracts work, or the tax system. And the arbitrage is fun too. Whenever somebody like sells a crazy amount of it, you can buy it off of a DEX, and then you can just like take it back to the contract and like mint and redeem, and just keep doing that and stack your bags. And
exactly.
That's super cool.
We call that phenomena free money left on the table, and a lot of people do enjoy that. What it also means is that it gives people another layer of technology to build on top of. We've actually made quite a big deal of the fact that you guys know GOAT token and the GOAT feeder on Degen Protocol. We're actually looking to replicate that exact same stack again, the feeder contract for XLUSD as well. So same principle is that you guys will be putting in DAI or other stable tokens to basically start your accounts up. But overall, the feeder, in the simplest terms, is a giant protocol-wide bullish position on the core asset of the X token. So theoretically, when we bring this feeder out, it is going to be a giant bullish position in PLUSD by Degen Protocol, underwritten by all the participants, is basically how it is.
That's cool as hell, bro.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to building on top of it. And by the way, might I also shout out as well that LUSD is currently the 5th largest provider of liquidity on my new DEX, Function Island DEX, that I've been working to build with everybody as well.
Nice, Donnie. Yeah, we've got an AMA over there tomorrow with over in their LUSD community Telegram too. So we'll be doing that about 1 p.m. PST tomorrow. So.
Awesome, sweet. I'll make sure to drop. So we have a new topic in our Degen Roundtable little Telegram community thing where we post like stream announcements and things. So if you guys want to shout out like any sort of streams that you're doing or whatever, throw it on into that topic over there. Keep it out of the main chat, because if it's in the main chat, I'll delete it.
Yeah, cool. I know that's what we have our high risk Degen plays topic. So we still have those guys trying to scam their airdrop things all day long, and it's like.
They do it, and you just gotta kick them out of there. They can shill it in the shill page. Exactly. Speaking of
Will, real quick,
things going
I got a question for you.
Well, yeah, sure. I want to toss it over to Twinkie here, but go ahead and ask your question.
Real quick, do you have the ability to do the random drawing?
Yes.
On the stream, cool. Tell you what, Black Sheep, can you or Dev Donnie give us the word of the day?
Ooh, we're gonna do a word of the day. Fuck yeah.
I don't know. Alcohol.
I like it.
All right. Put it in the chat. Hashtag alcohol.
The magic word of the day is alcohol.
Hey!
There he is.
Before the stream ends, we're gonna give away 3 lottery tickets to the Degen the GOAT lottery. So go ahead and get those in there.
All right. I have to actually.
Oh, cool. Well, there you go.
In my producer page. I like it. Yeah. So hashtag alcohol. I'm gonna write mine in there too.
I hope everyone knows how to spell it.
I might be too drunk. I'm checking everyone else's spelling to make sure mine's right. Mr. Angry Twinkie, I didn't give you get a chance to ask you what's new and exciting with you, broski. What are your thoughts? What's going on over in that Twinkie mind over there? You've been quiet for
many thoughts, man. Personally had a lot going on in the background, so not streaming as much, trying to get my property set up for autopilot as much as possible for like the next 12 to 18 months. Since it is time to be dialed the fuck in. So busting my ass on that one for the daytime grind. But I know we were chatting a little earlier about the SSN, all the personal information security breach, like 2.9 billion records. So PSA, if you were in the Degen Roundtable chat, you would have caught that when I brought that up last week. I know Dace was throwing around some reminders today. So you would have had a 1 week head start compared to most of the news outlets on that one. Please make sure you've got multi-factor authentication, not just on assorted random credit card stuff, your centralized exchange stuff. It's not out of the realm of possibility. They got names, socials, phone numbers, relatives. Also recently, in like kind of a little bit of a Black Mirror type thing, OpenAI they were reporting that it was erroneously cloning a user's voice back to them. Right, like that's kind of a bent, right? Point here though is for a lot of people, like just little innocuous things that in totality can potentially do you in. I know a lot of us for our personal phones, voicemail, right? You like to leave a semi-personalized message. Well, some of the tools out there can clone your voice with 11 seconds of sample or less. So now they got your name, your number, your relatives, your address. Who knows what else is in that database? Please make sure you got multi-factor turned on. Protect your assets, protect your accounts. Realistically, the way of the future with this stuff, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when people are going to be breaching these systems. So give yourself a fighting chance on this. Buy yourself some time. All right, let me step off the soapbox to the PSA side of things, brother.
That's good. That was actually one of the things we wanted to talk about. Go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely frightening. Like the amount of people that got hacked and now have all their personal info out there. Like, I think Twinkie, you hit the nail on the head, man. Like, get yourself protected, because that is scary stuff, man.
The other thing that I'd like to add as well is the amount of things that people expose their information to completely unnecessarily, right? Have a think before you sign up to a new service. How many times am I going to use this? what am I using it for? And is it imperative to what I need to do? Do I need this in my life? Or is this like a, I'm signing up to this because it looks fun in the moment type thing? And then, because so many times, right, the terms of service is like the Bible. Everyone scrolls to the end and hits I agree, right? But you really need to understand what it is that you're signing there,
Yeah, that's it.
So, I mean, guys, if I could add anything onto what Twinkie said there, because he raised some very brilliant points there, think about what you're signing up with your details to before you do it. Because honestly, 99% of the shit out there is just out there to get that information that he mentioned.
That's man,
Absolutely.
and it's getting harder and harder to detect. So definitely keep the things that, man, that's tricky though, because it's like we don't always know what is important and what all. Like if somebody were to ask me like, hey bro, what's your mom's maiden name? I would probably just say it because like, oh yeah, that's not important. But that's often like a two-factor authentication, like, hey, prove that you are who you say you are so that we can give you access to your bank account, like shit like that, man. It's tough.
Will, real quick.
Go ahead.
Let's dive into this. So
okay.
This is a bit of a throwback to anybody who caught the real early book club days. We covered one of the books called Securing Assets by, what is it? Christopher Stephen Bates.
Yep.
There's a few things that you can do when it comes to security methods based on who you are and how you can set up two-factor authentication. You can set up two-factor authentication based on who you are, what you know, or what you have access to. Typically, what a lot of two-factor authentication is these days, especially if you throw back to some old school World of Warcraft players, if you got a Blizzard's authenticator for your account, what it was is that there is a cryptographic program that is set on a time code that cannot be hacked, and then your account is entered into that code at a certain time. Because of that, every time you click your authenticator button, it's going to provide you with like a 12-digit number that is unique to you at that time in the world, and it lasts for about like 60 to 120 seconds. What that does is it says that you are entered into a secondary database. You can see similar things with like whenever your bank, you try to log in from like a new station or something, you'll get a text message and they say, hey, enter this one-time code. What this is this access is to what you have access to. So it's another way of securing a thing, because typically your password is a thing that you know that you plug into the computer. If someone else has a way to get access to your password, the two-factor authentication uses one of the other three methods. It's saying who you are, what you know, or what you have. What you know is your password. What you have is your cell phone or your World of Warcraft Blizzard authenticator. And then what you are is something when it comes to more encryption-based stuff, which is like you are a crypto wallet that has certain private keys and then can re-input that as well. So two-factor authentication can be any number of it's really any of these three things that you have not already entered, but it is one of those things. And the most common way is what you have access to, which is some sort of authentication device through your cell phone, an authenticator, or some sort of app. And it's possible to like spoof or hack those, but at the same time, it's very difficult. So just to understand that. Understand your security so that you're able to cover your holes. Because the more layers of security, it's the Swiss cheese method. So that the slices of Swiss cheese have the holes, and the more stacks you put on top of each other, the more the holes are going to get covered up, and you're not going to get that single hole that lines up perfectly that the hacker can go through.
Yep. That's a good analogy. I like it. Pulse Ray, you've been quiet for a little bit. I want to know if you have any thoughts, and then Black Sheep, I'll toss it over to you. Mr. Pulse Ray, have you been keeping up to date with this stuff going on with the hacks and all the info? Is this a thing that you're worried about or thinking about? Oh snap! He might be away from computer right now. I'm gonna go ahead and toss it over to you, Black Sheep. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, you actually didn't ask me what I was drinking today too, and I'm with you on that. The water boy.
Nice. Oh man, drinking the water.
Sure that was ice in there. You're drinking what, ice?
Dude, I drank like this whole month and I couldn't get out of bed this weekend, so I was like, "Fuck this! I'm gonna take a couple weeks out."
I like it. Probably the most alcoholic of all of us here is keeping it clean on Whiskey Wednesday. Salute to you, broski. I fucking love it.
Yeah, right.
I
need a
fucking love
break
it.
every now and then. But yeah, no, everybody stay safe out there. Always use two-factor authentication every time you can. Use other authentication. Use like a backup authentication in case your phone breaks or something. Like you gotta keep yourself covered. And definitely, yeah, don't give out any like personal information like your mother's maiden name to anybody.
And then also watch out for wrench attacks because people might come around swinging wrenches at you. And that's the one that you got to watch out for and be ready for the most, because that's the one that has the most damaging effect.
Yeah,
always have like
wrench attack
offline
or the great the great bargain for your kneecaps.
Yes. Do you want to keep your kneecaps or do you want to keep your money? The choice is yours.
Oh yeah. Be safe.
I like it.
That's the bottom line. Don't be stupid. Don't click any links in Telegram either.
Stop connecting your wallet to shitty websites that look like a scam. Fun fact,
exactly.
It's probably a scam.
Guys, listen. If there's one thing I could suggest about Telegram links as well, because one thing that people don't quite know yet is that it is absolutely possible to make a link look like one URL and have it lead to a complete other, because Telegram does not support Telegram doesn't just support traditional text-based links. It also supports a deal of markdown syntax, which means you can put custom text over a link. Right, I can have a link that looks like www.google.com that leads to a certain other site that you definitely don't want to end up on. Right. So if you find a link in Telegram and it is from someone that you know, whether it's someone you know, whether it's someone you don't, the first thing you should always do is either A, just not click on it, or B, long press on the link and paste it somewhere that you can check the URL manually. A notepad, a notes app, a fucking somewhere else that you can look at that URL before you navigate to it.
Yeah, that's smart. Twinkie, you said you got something on this. Go ahead, broski.
Yeah. So different Telegram group that I'm pretty active in. Shout out to the Citadel guys over there. Was helping some folks over in that chat, and just as Donnie was indicating, that somebody had clicked on a link and it looked official. Took them to something that looked like a Coinbase OTC type site, like labeled Coinbase OTC. The only reason I think this kind of flagged semi was because it looked different on mobile versus desktop. Desktop looked fairly clean. It would have passed a surface level glance on it. Mobile, you could see it's had a different header in it. Anyway, but what got this person in hot water was, I know there's a lot of single dudes in the crypto community. He had in his dating profile, hey, I'm a crypto guy on this. So this person targeted him and was telling him all the sweet things. And hey, I need a little bit of help. I'm in crypto myself. Why don't you check out this site? We'll make you some more money. The dude got rinsed for 13 grand.
Oh, damn.
Did he connect his wallet, Twinkie? Was that the problem? Like,
he did. And it was like connect wallet and transfer funds, and hey, we'll double your investment. And oh shit, I'm watching the numbers go up on this totally spoof page because they've already got your funds. So please give us some more. And by the time all said and done, it's like, bro, first off, mistake number one, advertising your business on a dating site. Mistake number two, connecting and transferring funds over, right? Like, take a minute, think with the correct head on this one.
See, how do people even think that that's a thing? Who in this world could honestly think that that's a thing? Oh, send me your money and I'll send you back double. Fucking, I'm sorry, I'm just going to say, how stupid!
Yep.
Donnie, there's a Nigerian prince born every day. But to take this...
I'm actually part Nigerian.
I know.
It's Twinkie. So send Twinkie 1 Bitcoin, he'll send you 2 back. That's how it works, right?
You can do it. There was one person. There was a person who once wrote a book called "How to Make $1 Million." He sold 1 million copies at $1 a piece, and inside the book, all it said was "Thank you."
Write this book. Oh, that's fucking great.
Go. Hey, I do want to take this one layer deeper, though. So shout out to Stephen Bates' book as well, because he covers this and that, which is that we're all crypto folks here, so we know how to do the transactions. Whenever you do any transactions, there are 3 steps that you go through. The first off is that typically you have to connect your wallet. Up next, you have to set an approval for a limit, aka the limit spend. And then after that, you have to actually approve the swap. I think we're all pretty familiar with that. But how many people here, aside from Donnie, are actually able to read code and understand what the transaction in the program is that you're approving?
Yeah,
not me.
Well, the thing I like about Rabby is it gives you an overview of what's going to happen in the transaction. So that's
there you go.
Good tool to use. MetaMask doesn't give it to you, and you have to go search for it to find it, kind of thing. So, from what I know, unless they changed it, I haven't used it in a while. Rabby's just been...
MetaMask have got a very basic sort of a transaction estimator, but it does only work for the chains that Consensus Incorporated would like to have their fingers in the middle of.
Yeah,
so
Right. Of course.
yeah. If you
I heard
want
they're
to,
just coming out with a debit card, huh? What do you guys think about that? The MetaMask debit card?
I was just about to bring that up.
There's
You can have
other-
stuck transactions on the debit card.
Well,
Dude,
hey,
have you
there's-
seen my Twitter?
No.
Look, hey, first of all, I want to say one of the reasons why I put custom nonce on my MetaMask is so that I know what my nonce number is every single transaction.
Right.
So if anything
Yeah.
looks off, I automatically know that that's not the transaction nonce that is next up on my list. That's a very quick and easy way to be able to look for yourself that you know that, hey, this is my transaction. Again, like you said, though, it's probably only going to work on certain websites and certain things, but there are little things that you can do that they wouldn't know. That's not going to show up, or if it's going to show up, it's going to show up incorrectly. But nonetheless, look, do we love MetaMask? Not really. Are they somewhat centralized in who they are? Maybe. Do they do some great things for us? Yes. Look, I use MetaMask every single day. Is the idea of a debit card from MetaMask or from these exchanges? Look, we keep talking about, and this is something we're going to talk about more early next year, and as we get closer to the end of the bull market, is like, how do you offboard your funds, right? How do you get your funds off in a fast period of time and get them into stables and get into other areas that you want to use your money for? Could a debit card be good at some point? I'm on the wait and see approach. We'll see how MetaMask does it and how well it works. But look, the first iteration is probably not going to be great. But look, it's a good idea. Like overall, like it makes sense to some extent.
You know, honestly, I have a question in retort to that. If centralized coins and fake scarcity and debit cards in one big combination were so much of a popular idea, then why aren't the frequent flyer points at shopping markets so up in price either? Like,
Because nobody can take vacations. They're too busy working.
I mean, okay, fair enough. Hardy, hardy, ha. Thank you, touche, honky.
Can you explain that a little bit further though? So
okay, so what I'm talking about is that shopping market points. You scan your card every time you do your shopping, you get points, etc. Right? Okay, so people do these meaningless little actions. They get their coins, right? Similar to the way that they chase after airdrops and tokens and stuff, right? Yeah. But then there's ways that they can spend them. They attach a card to them, like, oh, you're going to get more points by using our card that's attached to this account that has points that mean nothing, right? So whether it's in fiat world or whether it's in crypto world, it's the same shit, a different stink. You know, I just don't think it's going to work. And I think what I'm trying to go for here is to explain that a debit card on MetaMask is no different than the points program at the supermarket giving you a card to spend, because I mean, it just renders crypto another extension of the same bullshit fiat bubble that we're in, right? It doesn't teach people the principle that maybe they should be transacting in units of Satoshi or whatever that was supposed to be what Bitcoin was used for. You remember way back in the day, right? Before Bitcoin Pizza Guy gave us $1 value, people were trading in units of sats, right? That's how it should have gone. Giving people debit cards attached to their MetaMask account is not teaching them how to detach from the current broken financial system. It is putting a Band-Aid on the current broken financial system so they can feel like they're doing something better.
Donnie, I think you're entirely right, but
Donnie's not a fan.
I was just going to say there's two things. First of all, the biggest issue that you haven't even mentioned yet is you're adding another layer that could cause issues, right? Like, you have your MetaMask, maybe it's linked to your cold storage, or maybe it's not. There's another layer here, right, where hacks can happen, where things can go wrong. But at the same time, look, most of the people in the world right now, I hate to say it, don't care enough to be free to do what we do and to want to learn and to want to get there. So could this allow people to onboard without having to deep dive down into everything? Maybe. Do I agree that that's not the way we want to get people into the crypto space? Sure, but not everyone's going to be what we are or what we want our, communities to be.
Yeah, look, we're on the bleeding edge of technology here. That's the reason why we are the 1%, right? And eventually, when we get mass adoption into crypto, we are going to be known as those people who just, wow, how do you do all these things? It's like, well, to us, it's easy, right? But here's the thing. We still live in a world where the dollar is king, okay? And for us to live our lives outside of this crypto space, we still need dollars and able to purchase things and frankly just live. We got bills to pay. And that's the reason for the credit cards and all that, because it was such a headache before. Yes, freedom, be your own bank and all that, right? But it was such a headache before having to try and move your funds that you made out of crypto and able to pay bills. Well, this is going to make things a shit ton easier. So I'm all for it. I think it's not necessarily for the spirit of crypto and being your own bank and all of that. Like, yes, it's definitely not what we want, but the same sort of thing can be said about the ETFs as well. You don't want institutional players in Bitcoin unless you want the price to go up, and then you do, right? It's like, which one you can't have your cake and eat it too, right? You need to choose, what do you want? Do you want the trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars in investors money, right, to come into crypto and help us basically advance this entire space for the world? Or would you rather be a hidden little corner in a dark alley? That's basically what's happening here.
I must admit, Nate, I hate absolutely everything about what was just said there, but I totally agree. And I mean,
Donnie, let me see if I can help bridge this gap, and I'm going to bridge it.
Hold on. Yeah, I had something for that. I hate everything about what was said there, but I agree with it. And it's if I can only offer one more comment on the end of that, is that, yeah, the reason why I believe that it is the way that it is, in the way that Nate summed it up there, is because somewhere along the line, someone made a shit decision that was against the ethos of why crypto was invented, and now we have to live with this shit compromise sandwich.
That's a good point. I like the principle of like the strong will survive, and I also like trying to stop my friends from making stupid decisions. So there's a weird like balance that has to be walked between the lot of those things. And speaking of walking fine balances, we've got some fucking chats that have been racking up. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this conversation short a little bit. If you guys have any thoughts, then let me know after I'm done covering chat shoutouts. But holy smokes, we've got a lot of chats that I have to shout out. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crypto degenerates, ducks and squirrels. Starting off with Funkmaster Hex, he says, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Good evening to you too, sir. Glad to see you, an OG in the space from basically as far as I can remember. So good to see you, Funkmaster Hex. Next up, we got Frank White saying, bang, bang, Pulse Gang. Absolutely right, bro. Bang, bang, Pulse Gang. I love it. And then we have our very own Agent J of the Degen Roundtable saying the price of eggs just went up again from 5 dozen costing about $15 or cost about $15 from $10 a month again. Lol, man, I should have read that differently there, or maybe he should have written it differently. I don't know. Jay, I'm going to blame you being Asian on that one.
We just need to point out that Jay, our bodybuilder, is over here buying eggs 5 dozen at a time.
Yep, and he's. I mean, hey, that is a 50% increase, so from 10% to 15%. So,
and look, we have a chat in our Telegram about fitness. You can talk to 3 professional fitness experts in our chat,
and hundreds of totally uninformed people, and people like at different levels on the spectrum. But those 3 professionals are the ones that you should take the advice of for sure. I'm gonna go ahead and actually drop the Degen Roundtable link in the chats again, and then I will get right back to
please do drop that link, because anybody that we select for a winner of the lottery tonight, you got to reach out to me on Telegram. Go into the DRT Telegram, go find me in there. It's at Zenith Crypto, and then you shoot me a DM with your recipient wallet address for the GOAT lottery. And that is how I'm going to connect it up. Speaking of which, Will, if you don't mind, at the end of this chat shoutouts, can we fire up a drawing?
Ooh, we will do that very thing. So I'm going to go ahead and drop the link straight to your very own name. So if you guys click on this link right here, t.me/Zenith Crypto, if you click on that link, you'll get direct send right into Zenith's inbox or whatever. So if you happen to win this magical drawing today, which by the way, the magic word of the day is alcohol for the folks of you that don't know. So type in hashtag alcohol in the chats if you have not done so already. I will say that we've already got 9 entries so far. So if you guys want to be winning a special magical prize funded by your good friend Zenith right here, then go ahead and type in hashtag alcohol or # alcohol or # alcohol. Mrs. McGettit, if you could find a way to put that on the scrolling Chiron, that would be most helpful. If not, that's no sweat. But getting right back on into chat shoutouts, our very next chat shoutout is from our good friend US Crypto Boogie. Sup monkeys, replay gang at church. Glad to hear that you're out there taking care of your sins and taking care of your religion and your spiritual faith. Good stuff, Crypto Boogie. Glad to hear
God be with you.
Yes. Next up, we got Tam Tam. What's up, fam? Good to see ya. There we go. What's up, fam? Excellent. Always good to hear from the #1 Pulse Chain Hex and cryptocurrency cheerleader in the space. Excellent. Then after that, we've got Veritas the Awakened, your own Pulse X server. Yes, so this is another thing that the folks at home can do. You guys can go to the IPFS. Or if you guys go to pulsex.com, it'll take you to, I'm pretty sure that's the link. Holy fuck. I hope I didn't get that wrong. But I'm pretty sure it's pulsex.com. If you go to pulsex.com, you can download your own command prompt ran version of the Pulse X server that like your computer interacts directly with the blockchain, and there's no fucking like websites owned by other people, and you can launch your own bridge, you can launch your own exchange, you can launch your own hex.com, and I think that's it for them. There might be another 1 or 2 in there that are or like if you don't want to host it yourself from your own computer, you can always use the IPFS link, the interplanetary file service.
Interplanetary file system. That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Yeah.
Also, so one more thing as well, Will. I want to point out as well is that the official IPFS links from those pages. I've actually gone ahead, and you guys can do this too. So there's a thing out there called Pulse Domains. If you guys have seen that one, I actually went ahead and grabbed a Pulse domain, txscan.pls. I actually own that one, right? Okay. And you can actually point an IPFS URL at that same URL. Now, Pulse Domains actually started up a resolver service where if you add .to to the end of an IPFS pointed Pulse name, you actually get that IPFS URL sort of shortened, right? So that same IPFS link, that mypinata.whatever cloud thing that people go to for that IPFS link, for the Block Explorer, for example, I've shortened that to txscan.pls.to. Again, for Pulse X, I've shortened that to thedex.pls.to. Obviously, I would suggest that you do this for yourself. You should always use your own software first. But of course, those are creative resources to look at also.
Bro, that's fantastic. Donnie was talking about this stuff at 1 hour and 7 minutes into the video. I'm going to write that down so we can clip that later. 1 hour, 7 minutes. Okay, sweet. So that's some good alpha there, broski. For those of you guys that came here just to watch us drink water all night long, you got some fantastic stuff. Thank you for that, Donnie. I appreciate that, bro. Yeah. I've got 2 more chats to shout out, and then we can hop right back into the regular conversation. Up next, we got Daniel Robar, our very own, talking about chasing love and laughing about it. Fuck yeah, bro. I'm not sure what part of the conversation that was relevant to, but yes,
for the poor guy in the Citadel.
Love of women, love of men.
That poor motherfucker. Yeah, guys, don't talk about your fucking your cryptocurrency things to girls, because most often, like 99 times out of 100, girls aren't interested in cryptocurrency any much further than it's a means to an end for them to get wealthier via you, who is generally the money printer. So presuming that you're a man on the internet, because we all know that there are no girls on the internet, and they're certainly not watching YouTube right now. Just kidding. We love all our female audience as well. But if you're a man out there, like, just generally avoid talking to cryptocurrency unless you know the girls are into cryptocurrency, and then be double aware, because that's super likely that they're a scammer. And if they're not a scammer, they could be trying to rob you. And if they're not trying to rob you, then it might be legit. But like, for real, like, you gotta be very, very careful and vet the people that you talk to. Next up, we've got Mr. Tin Tops saying, "What's up, Hexicans?" What's up to you too, Mr. Tin Top, sir? Good to see you, buddy. Next, we got Nate the Great saying, "What up, gents? What up, Nate?" Good to see you, broski. Glad to have some more OGs in the house. And that, I think, does it for all of the starred chats. My God, there's a lot of stuff going on. Mr. Pulse Ray, I want to welcome you back to the conversation. We got your camera again. Do you have any thoughts on the stuff that we are talking? Oh, actually, shoot, Pulse Ray, hold that thought 1 minute, because Mrs. Producer, if you don't mind, pulling up my screen share real quick, and we're gonna do a quick little giveaway. So I can't remember if I added any sound effects to this particular Degen Roundtable brand thing, but as we're doing this little draw thing, I would like to like for you to play some sound effects. So let me go ahead and open that tab up, and we're gonna do our first little giveaway. Now, Zenith, can you tell the folks at home what is the thing that's happening with this giveaway?
Well, what we are doing right now is giving away some lottery tickets to the GOAT lottery over on the degenprotocol.io. This is a bit of a scratcher thing, and I am absolutely stealing one of our guests' bits currently. BlackSheep, this is cool by you, right? You like more tickets?
Sorry, I'm trying to find my mute button. Yeah, man. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Whatever you want to
do it.
Spin
all right, guys.
The wheel.
This is your last chance to type in hashtag lottery for this spin right here. I'm going to press it in 10 seconds. But for those of you guys that are going to miss this one, what y'all need to do is type in hashtag alcohol into the chats on the on this very own stream. So we got 12 entries right now. And ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Producer, go ahead and give me some random sound effects that hopefully don't get us canceled or whatever the heck. And I'm going to click this button. And
we do have a drum roll. 54 cent. All right, boy.
Oh yeah,
I got you.
54 cent.
Well deserved.
We are familiar with 54 cent. Mrs. Producer, you can go ahead and stop screen sharing for me. For
Will, can I just? One thing
it would have been a more efficient use of resources to clip that goat scream I did for you guys ages ago. You know that, right?
You know what? That probably would have been a better way to do it. I have a whole bunch. I have a whole bunch of sound effects, and there's so many things. Can you send it to me again in Telegram, and I will.
I'd have to find which episode it was that we were doing that. I mean, there has been a lot of shenanigans on this channel since then.
Oh man, there's been a lot. There's been a lot of shenanigans. But anyways, if you guys have any super cool sound effects you want to send, then just download it as an MP3 and send it over to me in the Telegram, and we'll see about throwing that up on our brand and having some more fun sound effects in here. But congratulations to our very own Kenturian 54X, a fantastic winner of one magical Degen protocol lottery ticket. You could be the magical winner of 1,000 die, good sir. So we'll see what happens whenever all those tickets sell. That's when the magical lottery number is drawn. So, Pulse Ray Vision, welcome back, broski. You've been away for a while. Do you have any thoughts on any of the stuff that we are covering? Whether it's like the macro stuff, or it was the Social Security, or the crazy hacking that's been going on, or like security or IPFS or anything. What's on your mind, broski?
Just a couple thoughts. First of all, most of us have real grown-ass man jobs here. I know I've seen you at some very worky-looking places before on stream. And if you guys had done half of the bullshit that the people in government have done to the economy, we would all be out on our ass. Not one of us would be able to keep our jobs with the way they're steering this ship. And it's got to be intentional, right? Like, nobody does that bad at a job. And the second thing is I've got my sunglasses on because the future is bright. Why is the future bright? Well, first of all, I've got the calendar of destiny right here that I write down the bottoms, my predictions on. And this thing's pretty powerful. So put your sunglasses on. I think we're 45 to 60 days away from the bottom of Pulse Chain. That's my prediction here.
Okay, those are some
60 days, and that's the bottom of Pulse Chain. I'm calling it right now.
Interesting. So
hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So if people want to do some buy-in, then now would be the time, according to Pulse Ray. That's a good campfire story, bro. I like. For the folks at home that don't know, I call everything a campfire story. So, bro, this is no offense to you. When people say that Bitcoin's going to $1, when they say it's going to $1,000 to 69, 420, whatever, I call it all campfire stories. But I like this one because it gives me more time to buy, and I'm always in the mood to buy when the prices are low.
Yes, and I think that the time that we're actually going to start rocketing up, where we actually see higher highs, is going to be in January.
Oh, so hell yeah!
So the bottom in the next 45 to 60 days, and then we start rocketing up around 150 days.
Excellent. I want to do a real quick adios to our good friend Twinkie. I just now opened up the private chat. He was saying that he has to hop off. So shout out to Mr. Twinkie. To you for
also me.
Thanks for joining. Also, thank you, Donnie, for joining us, broski. You guys go ahead and hop off, and thank you for hanging out and spilling the beans and giving us all the secrets and alpha. So
Noted All's coming on here, and we're gonna. He wants to show us some chart porn, guys.
Oh, okie dokie.
Hey,
Will.
We'll
give him a quick little spot. But we don't want to spend too much time on. We don't want to spend too much time on chart porn. I know that. Go ahead, Brendan.
Can you pull up Pulse X? Pulse X is a question that he just put in.
Mrs.
Neutral Celsius.
Oh boy.
Oh, Jinkies.
What's up, Note?
So there's a couple things. First of all, their blackberry is very good. Second of all, it's a seltzer, but it's a vodka seltzer. So it's not like your traditional seltzer waters that are fermented with sugar alcohol. This is vodka mixed, essentially vodka seltzer, vodka soda type of thing. So slightly different in how they're made. Technically, they're still like, but the neutrals are very good. And blackberry might just be my well, you said black cherry, but blackberry is probably my favorite flavor. But yeah, they're good. They're really good.
Excellent. A good, excellent choice. I want to welcome our two new guests who have joined us. We've got Mr. Professor Know-It-All, and we've also got Farmer Jay. For the folks at home that don't know, Professor Know-It-All he's a charts and a trading guy. He's got a lot of great alpha on charts. And if I allow him, he'll continue on for hours and hours and hours on end talking about charts and trades and cool things. Yes, I'll give you about a little 5-minute segment to do so here in the near future, Professor Know-It-All. But before we do that, we've also got Farmer Jay with us. Farmer Jay is a member of the Degen Roundtable Book Club. We meet up every Friday. We talk about books and we talk about our feelings. And he's also just a super cool dude. Met him and hung out during the crypto mindset meetup over in Vegas. Yes, that is my kind of chart, Pulse Ray Vision. I love to see it. And that's the TA that I do myself as I draw it on a piece of paper with price generally going up and to the right.
I got a quick comment.
Yeah, what's up?
Can you hear me fine, or is it my volume too low?
Yeah, I got you, bro. You're good.
Okay. First of all, stop telling people to stop falling for these scams, all right? How do you think I live, all right? These girls out here, they love you. If she asks you for your seed phrase, you go ahead and you hand her the seed phrase, okay? They are truly here. They are girls in crypto, and they are here for you. Okay, I don't care what these guys tell you. These girls love you, and if you just give them their seed phrase, they would love you 100 times more. I promise.
Excellent. Give them the seed phrase. They'll report it back to Farmer Jay, and then Farmer Jay will get all of your
carefully invest your funds and look out for them.
Yes, he will
Are you the insurance company?
He will custody your funds for you. Most excellent. All right. Let's see. We've got some chats piling up, but not enough to do a shout out segment. Professor Know-It-All, I'm going to go ahead and give you the floor for about 5 minutes here. And when you're doing your charts, I want you to only talk about the things that you think are the most important. And then once the 5 minutes time is up, I'm going to cut you off. And then we got to do regular conversation stuff. So what's on your mind of the recent near future? What's going on with macro and TA and your one of the ones that you talked about quite frequently, which I hadn't thought about before, was the global liquidity index. I think you were the first person that mentioned that or something like that. Has that been on your mind recently?
Yeah. So before I get into the charts, I might as well just give you guys the macro of what I'm thinking right now. So yes, global liquidity is going up. And so eventually what we're going to see is markets go up. My whole concern, and I'm sure everybody here is deeply into altcoins. So for altcoins to really go on rallies and runs, we really need to see some QE, and we really need to see rate cuts in a big way. Otherwise, they're just going to bleed out. So the CPI reading today was like 2.9% or something pretty insignificant. But we do have a pretty large uptick in unemployment, and the Fed's going to do something. Yeah. So like, what are they really going to do? Maybe they do a quarter basis point, which isn't going to do much. So what we really probably need is I'm not a political person, and I'm not here to talk about politics. But if we do get someone like Trump in office, who is probably the guy that would really cut the rates a lot, that's when we're probably going to see some parabolic moves. But if the Fed decides to cut too quickly or too soon or too late, if they do it too late, we might get a scenario that we saw in the 70s where we get deflation, we get a deflationary crash. But if they don't do it soon enough, then okay, I'll show the charts.
Go ahead and bring them up, bro. If you got something to share, go ahead and share it.
The people know what they want, brother.
People know what they want.
Okay.
We also had stagflation in the 70s too. The 70s was a tough time.
Real quick, while you're pulling up charts and while producers getting after it, you mentioned something I thought was kind of interesting, which is that your theory is that altcoins run when we have lower interest rates and quantitative easing. Conversely, one of the things that I've heard is that for altcoins to run, what you really need is just an overall crypto market to be kind of on the up and up. And specifically, one of the things recently is like, if Bitcoin can get above 65K and stay above 65K, that you'll see some altcoins have some decent performance. I like the QE and interest rates thought. Can you expand on that one?
Yeah, so it's just the broader thing, right? So like global liquidity is impacted, or crypto is a byproduct of global liquidity, right? So for Bitcoin to really perform, and the reason why, well, Bitcoin aside, Bitcoin's obviously been the focus, right? They've institutionalized Bitcoin at this point. They've institutionalized ETH at this point. So the reason why we're not really seeing lots of downside, I mean, yes, what? Bitcoin dropped 33%. That's not even a fucking thing. Like, it's not even a thing, right? It's nothing. It's not a thing. So like, that's how you know the bid is on Bitcoin. They're buying Bitcoin like they're like you've never seen before right now. But they're not buying, shit coins. They're not buying XLR. Like, who gives a shit about this coin, right? Nobody. Look at the chart. It looks like shit, for example. Okay, it's just been in a major downtrend here since February of 20 whatever. Okay, for example. But they are buying Bitcoin and Ethereum. For them to start buying S coins like XLR, we need to see an overflow of global liquidity, and we need to see an overflow of QE and money printing. Okay, that's pretty much what I'm talking about. For the low cap S coins to really blow up and do 100x's and meme coins to go nuts again, there needs to be a crazy risk on environment for that to happen. And right this very moment in time, I'm not seeing it. So. But anyways, I digress. We can look at some charts. I would say let's look at Pulse Chain, because I think Pulse Chain, everyone here is a Pulse Chain advocate. So let's look at it. DAI actually does look decent on the chart.
Pulse Chain has had a very unique opportunity that I honestly don't think we see very often, if at all, which is that, unfortunately, but also fortunately for you who have dry powder, which is that Pulse Chain actually touched all-time lows against the US dollar for the second time this last week. So the first time it touched all-time lows was when it made new all-time lows after the SEC sued Richard Hart. And this last week, we wicked right down to it and bounced off of it.
So this is the Pulse Chain chart. All right. To me, this is a descending triangle in formation. Okay. It's very clear we have our downsloping resistance here. The asset can, in my opinion, can run all the way up until it gets to this point, which is about a 2x. If you end up breaking this structure, we're looking at about a 5x from the breakout. Now, everyone here is like, oh, Pulse Chain can do 100x. It can. I'm not saying that can't happen, but it's got to get through some of these barriers first. Like, break this, back test it, consolidate, and then make your next wave out. And then after you
just get a 5x.
Yeah, that's what this is saying. This chart is telling you that from here to here is 200%. Once you break, you're looking at another 5x. So that's basically a 7x from here. Okay. So this is about a 7x trade is what I would say. All right. Which that's a great trade, right? Like, you can potentially 7x your money on this asset. And that's just what the chart's saying. This has nothing to do with Richard Hart, moving capital in from ETH, moving capital from other places and sources that are speculated upon. And so that's the TA on Pulse Chain right now. Yes, and we do have 3-day RSI bullish divergence with a lower low on price here. So yes, to me, this is a very low risk area to go long Pulse Chain. not financial advice. And yes, this can take months to play out. Like probably like this movement right here from October to March. Yeah, it's like what, 5 months? So yeah, I think in 5 months, I think we can see Pulse Chain break this 200% trend line here and maybe go and test the all-time highs by February and March of next year.
Professor, if you don't mind me jumping in here, I think this is the chart you have drawn on the screen right now is actually very similar to one of the questions that we got in the chat.
Just let me jump in
previously.
real quick. Can we zoom this up a little bit because it's like super small on the screen?
Yeah, it's a little small, boss.
I can.
We can either have Mrs. Producer full screen.
Yeah, click the far right button on the dashboard.
There we go.
Oh, beauty. There we go. So one of the questions that we had in the chat previously was actually for a good member here, Pulse Ray Vision, aka the artist formerly known as Hex Ray Vision. And it was, when do you think the top for Hex is? And I was looking at your chart and I was thinking to myself, that descending triangle pattern, when does it end? It ends in May of 2025. According to conventional Bitcoin 4-year cycle theory, we will have, or excuse me, rather 3-year and 11-month Bitcoin cycle theory, we will have our top in September of October of 2025.
I'm gonna formally disagree with that, and I'm gonna disagree with that under the implication of that rates kind of stay stagnated. And we don't see, like, if we don't, like, okay, it really all depends on who the hell comes into power. If we get a Kamala, like, she's not going to cut rates like we think she's going to cut rates. If we get a Trump, yeah, dude, this market's going to go fucking bonkers. Okay.
Can you explain that a little more? Why do you think Kamala will not cut rates?
She will. Or
she will cut rates?
I just don't think it's going to be as aggressive as we would want to see. So we're still going to get a bull run. It just won't be as aggressive. Okay. And the reason being is because, well, she's not really a crypto advocate really either. So she's just worried about, I don't really even know about Kamala or what her plan is. I just know that if and when we do get a Trump in office, we all know what these big corporations and companies do. They borrow more money because the interest rates are going to go way down. So it's fiscally, typically, a conservative is like a fiscally conservative. The right side of the market or the right side of politics is usually fiscally conservative, but Trump is like the outlier. He's going to actually create a shitload of inflation, and he's going to drop the interest rates to like nothing burger, and they're going to borrow a stupid amount of money and just pump the fucking market, and that's what they're going to do essentially. Now, if we get a Kamala, I don't think it's going to be to that scale, is what I'm trying to say.
I have a quick question since you're on this chart. How much time do you think we have more to accumulate where it's under that, whatever, however many zeros in the 5?
I think we're like, how long are we under 50% of the SAC rate?
Yeah.
It's probably not going to stay down here for that long, but a really great metric to look at is actually DeFi Llama, and DeFi Llama will show you TVL. And so,
I'm specifically talking about for anybody that's looking to accumulate long term, not for a trade, but anybody that's looking to accumulate long term, like anything under that 0.5, 0.0, how many zeros there are right now in 5.
I would just pay attention to this chart right here. This is all you need to know. When this number starts to tick up, man, the whole ecosystem is going to tick up.
I got it. I'm a simple brain. I got no idea what the hell that chart means.
So basically,
that is total. Is that total value locked TVL?
Yes. Yep.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does that entail exactly?
Basically, all the money on the chain. Period. End of story.
Okay.
Not locked up, but just straight liquidity.
So, I mean, yes, total value locked means locked up on the chains. People staking things, protocols, all sorts of whatever shenanigans are happening on this chain.
Everything.
Is it fair to say that there's a token on the chain that, I don't know, incentivizes people to lock up value for a long term?
Oh, dang. If only there was.
If only there was.
There you go. So PulseX has the most TVL. There it is.
Really, PulseX does.
Mm-hmm.
Is Hex on this chart?
Nope.
Interesting.
He's not.
I think he's talking. These are specific protocols and farms and dexes, right?
Yep. These are protocols.
One of the things, Zenith, to keep in mind is that with Hex, you don't lock it up, you destroy it. So it's removed completely from circulation. So it no longer exists as soon as you start a stake and or mine. So it might
Thank
not
you, good
be
sir.
tracking
That is an excellent point for the SEC, which is that you make the contract with yourself to destroy the coins, and in which case, at a future date, you are able to mint coins based on the contract you have created with yourself and no other middleman. But
Anyway, sorry, Gary.
Excellent chart.
Please
Anyways,
continue.
One sec. I'm going to go back to one more chart, and it's the Bitcoin chart, and why I think that this run may not go into the end of 25. And I hope I'm wrong, but this is basically what has been going on. So I'm going to show you the Bitcoin chart on 6-month candles because it's a very simple way to look at this. Okay,
6-month candles. Wow.
Yep, because this is a longer term, right? And every single time we initiate a bull run, it's every single time we make the first bullish 6-month candle. So if we go back to 2015, the first 6-month bullish engulfing candle was this candle right here. We had 1, 2, 3, 4 6-month candles. That's 2 years of a bull market. Okay. And yes, we did make a blow off top into this 2017 run. So we had slight deviation outside the channel, right? Okay. Our next bull run here. First 6-month bullish engulfing candle, that major run to 14K. But then we had the COVID, but this candle is still active because of how the candle closed, right? It never actually candle closed below the 6-month candle. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We basically double topped. So I'm not including this last 6-month candle, even though we made technically, I would say we made technically a higher high on price, but candle body closure wise, we didn't really make that much of a difference on where we exited this market. Like if you exited here, what did you really miss? Not much, right?
Hey, Professor, when we're talking about the 6-month candles in this theory, are we talking about the bodies or the wicks, or a combination of either one?
Bodies. Yeah, bodies.
Got it.
So yeah, technically this made a higher 6-month candle body close, but on the price, you could see it didn't really make that much of a significant difference if you exited here versus here. Okay. So this cycle, our first 6-month bullish engulfing candle was here in January. So 1, 2, 3, we have one more, right? The fourth. And our fourth will close in June of next year, right? So that's why I rest my case by June, April, May, June, in that region, which is a year after the halving.
So are you proposing something radically different from the 4-year cycle, aka like a left translated cycle?
No, it's not a left translated cycle. We would still be making closures on the right side, which would still be a normal cycle. I think it's an accelerated cycle because of the institutional adoption.
Okay.
Question for you there, though. So you still think that you're saying the tops would still be in the fall at some point for Pulse Chain, actually?
I mean, Pulse Chain is going to be the lagger, right?
Yeah.
Because it's so wrecked.
Well, yeah, we're looking at the Bitcoin chart right now, right?
This is Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin specifically, yeah. So, I mean, maybe something better to look at would be the ETH chart, right? Because we're looking at alts. So the ETH chart,
because that's where all our SAC money is.
Yeah. So the ETH chart.
Yeah, it's right over there.
Okay, so the ETH chart. I mean, you can in theory say that the first 6-month bullish engulfing candle was in July of 2020. We had 2 candles preceding the bullish engulfing. So right now, actually, we've had a bullish engulfing here. We've actually kind of had a different cycle than the 2019 run. You could say that we started our bullish engulfing here. We've been making bullish engulfing candles, but we haven't even breached the all-time high yet. So to me, this could run past, like, okay. So let's just say Bitcoin tops out in April, May, or June in that region. Typically, people don't think that that's the top of the market, and what happens is altcoins tend to rally or run after Bitcoin puts a top in, right? So what could happen is maybe we get 2 or 3 months of price action after Bitcoin puts its top in, while it's like consolidating or pulling back or retracing, and people just think it's a retrace when it's actually the market just topped out, and ETH could potentially make its final leg into the summer, potentially. That could be.
Yeah. Off season.
Right. Yep, just something to pay attention to. I feel like people become way over bullish on stuff, and to protect yourself, you should really, keep that in mind when Bitcoin tops out, that there's a potential that, well, maybe the rest of the market also is topped out. And for me right now, from looking at this, just the bottom of this range, the top of this range, ETH is a 252% measured move from here, which puts it right around 14K. And it may only end up doing half that movement. So maybe like 7.6 to like 10K region. So like last cycle, I mean, because this cycle was, this cycle we could really probably compare it to. This was a 500% measured move from this break, and it did basically that whole move. Okay, so maybe it will do the whole move. So yeah, we could be looking at a $13,000 or $14,000 ETH by the end of the cycle.
Professor, you mentioned something, which is that if you have that 14K Ethereum target, that it's the potential to do only half of the move. What is something that could cause only half of that move to happen and nothing more?
So swing traders or professional traders, because you have a structure that's in place, what happens is people front run the targets. And because they don't really care, like, let's just say they bought the bottom, or they bought really low in the cycle, they bought $1,000 or $1,200 ETH. Is it really, I mean, yes, obviously for folks that don't have a lot of capital, they want to yield as much as they can. But for larger institutions, they just want to de-risk. They don't necessarily want to be in for the whole move because they want to sell into strength. Okay. Yeah. And I will say something interesting on this chart is that the volume is completely receded. So there is a big move coming, okay, for ETH. Look at the volume index here. The volume is nothing but, even though we saw a big dump, like, look at the volume. Like, the volume is completely receded and we're still in an uptrend. So to me, there is going to be a major rally coming soon. All right. And the other thing that I like to look at here is the Tether dominance chart before you cut me off here, because I know I'm probably past my time, and that's fine.
That's okay. You're good. This is excellent information.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll keep going with you.
Yeah, this is a hell of a 5 minutes. Like, for once, I'm actually paying attention to what he's saying and like actually catching on.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like
keep going, bro.
Yeah, keep going.
Oh, boy, Farmer, this is the best scam around.
Yeah.
I do have a question for you at some point.
Sure. All right. Sure, so the Tether dominance chart is really simple. So we started our bull market here on the breakdown of this. This was actually a symmetrical triangle that broke down up here. And this was when we bottomed out and Bitcoin started to run in this market. We broke down. We actually ended up breaking this channel, back tested the channel, and came all the way down. This was our top in March. And basically, since then, Tether has been climbing and Bitcoin's been consolidating and doing a bunch of nothing. Altcoins have been bleeding. And the market is pretty depressed right now, I would say. So what is this chart telling me? Unfortunately, this chart's telling me that this could potentially still maybe go a bit higher. And the reason why I say that is because, well, look at our weekly average sentiment oscillator. We had a bullish crossback here in June, okay, and that's when we saw that big, like a couple weeks ago, or maybe a week ago, we just saw that big dump, right? And unfortunately, depending on how we end up closing this weekly and this monthly candle, we could be looking at one more attempted push for Tether into the 6.75% region, which would bring Bitcoin back down to like 50K or 53K or something. Okay. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's all, a beautiful thing on these charts, because it's not. Because look at the monthly momentum on Tether is pointing up. That's not necessarily a good thing to see. Okay. And the monthly right now is crossing the signal line. We're about to cross into monthly bullish control zone. What I hope happens is the Fed cuts rates and it just becomes a completely risk-on environment and this thing just gets wrecked. Like, that's what we hope happens here, that this goes down. And so that's like a hoping thing. But in trading, you don't want to be in the camp of hoping. You want to be in the camp of, okay, how do I risk manage what's happening? And if I am wrecked on trades, how can I mitigate those trades to really stay afloat in these markets? So that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. I think we got a little bit more of turbulence potentially ahead. The 2-week here is still long on Tether. You can see that 2-week printed last week. We don't usually get these signals very often, and when we do, well, unless it's something like this where we got a long signal right into the median towards the end of the bear market. But if you look at the RSI up here, it was already, extended up here at 60 or close to 60 with the momentum shifting down here as well. So momentum is actually shifting to the upside, unfortunately, right now on the dollar. On the tethered dollar, not the actual dollar, which brings me to the point, okay, before I'm done, because after this I'm done. The actual dollar looks like complete, utter garbage, okay? Like, I do not want to be owning dollars right now. This is probably going to make a major breakdown. And if you notice where I said get out of all risk assets, it's down here at the bottom of this channel, and this is probably going to happen sometime. I think the equities market's probably going to run further than the crypto market because of that, right? The equities markets run quicker, or not quicker, they run slower in terms of percentage, okay? But because there's a shitload more capital in the equities market than the crypto market, it's a lot slower to make major shifts in price action. Okay, I'm done.
That's some good shit right there.
Excellent.
Hey, Professor, I have a question for you. So, based on the theory that you just laid out, when do you think the Bitcoin market is going to top out? Is it still adhering to the 4-year cycle, or is it something different?
It's a really difficult question, but I am in the camp of thinking that these 4-year cycles are probably about done with because they've institutionalized Bitcoin and Ethereum. But I'm not saying that Bitcoin isn't programmed to go up, because it is. If anything, the Bitcoin sprees are going to be, or these cyclical events that we're seeing are still going to be driven by global liquidity. So if, for some reason we go to war, or for some reason some shenanigans goes on and then they have to print money, well, guess what? That can take us right out of a bear market. And it cannot be a 2-year bear market. It could be a 1-year bear market. It could be a 6-month bear market. And we can go into a 10-year bull run for Bitcoin. Okay? Do you understand what I'm saying? It can be some crazy shit that happens. The 4-year cycle theory is a theory that we've been seeing since 2010. Okay? And this is, in my opinion, still a very immature asset. And so now that we have big institutions, BlackRock is the 4th largest holder of Bitcoin now. Okay. They've bought like 370,000 Bitcoin, dude.
It is an insurmountable amount of Bitcoin. Agreed. But the reason that I ask you this is because it's okay if you answer no on this one, but did you see the stream that we did on Sunday? We had Axis Live come on. Okay, Axis came on our stream, and he actually talked with us explicitly about the idea that the Bitcoin 4-year cycle is going to die because traditional finance money is coming into the institution. As a result of that, we're going to see Bitcoin revert to what it has always purported to be, which is a store of value, which is more of akin to the gold chart itself.
Yep.
And one of the theories that Axis posited was that theoretically we could watch the 4-year cycle break in real time, and instead of getting a 4-year cycle with a 67 or 69% dip, whatever it is, instead you're just going to see the perpetual up and to the right of the Bitcoin chart as the store of value, just as the gold chart is right now.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
I think that's going to happen when some of these states, some of the bigger states, start getting their pensioners funds into some of these ETFs, even just a small percentage. The amount of money that goes into these pension funds is freaking crazy.
Agreed. The amount of money that traditional finance wields at its disposal is absolutely massive.
So
you have a really good point
my local,
if you don't mind, I want to keep this going.
I was just gonna say my local pension alone in the little area where I live has billions and billions of dollars in their control. It's
a
crazy.
Local pension has billions with a B.
Just local, in a city.
That's wild.
When you start talking about big expanding it to states, it's gonna be wild.
I'll say this. I'm actually kind of doing some consulting for an actual fund right now, and they are under the implication that these big institutions like Goldman and BlackRock and the big guys, the older TradeFi guys are more hesitant to put money into Bitcoin at this current stage because of how immature the asset still is. Obviously, you have the folks that are trying to drive the adoption in, and it's basically just to get baby boomer money into the market because they have all the wealth, right? And so once, I mean, a lot of our parents and people, folks are baby boomers, and it's kind of effed up to say, but once they pass, like what's going to happen? What's going to happen is all that capital is going to flow into Bitcoin. Okay. But that's going to take years, I would say. I think by like 2030, it's a whole different ball game. Okay. We're probably going to see the $1 million Bitcoin by 2030 type of deal. Like, I think this cycle, they're going to have to take it to like 250 maybe just because they're like, if they want it to push this thing to $1 million next cycle, like that, then it becomes within reach, right? A 4x, a previous all-time high type of thing. And so, yeah, I'm not like, it's tough to be like not a moon boy for Bitcoin because there is no top for Bitcoin. It's an artificially made top. The last cycle, okay, was completely impacted by global liquidity, and that's it. In the 2017 cycle, it was actually they put a stop to it by adding a futures market, so the big boys could literally stop the growth of Bitcoin with the cash market. And they're going to probably do the same thing now with the derivatives market. BlackRock is trying to get approval for options on spot Bitcoin and Ethereum. So that is, in my opinion, that's they're going to be their way to hedge their spot position. Okay. So that will probably be an artificial top that they end up making somewhere, so they can short it and reaccumulate for the next cycle.
Yeah.
Hey, Professor, I got a question here for you.
Sure.
So if we're talking about the idea that Bitcoin transitions away from the 4-year cycle and towards more of a traditional gold style up into the right market, what happens to altcoins in the relation to Bitcoin?
Because they get eviscerated. 99% of them get eviscerated.
Okay, is there any discernment in the evisceration, or like who wins, who loses?
It depends. It depends on what the altcoins do. If they have inherent value in stable coins, or they have inherent value to provide value to the Bitcoin network in some shape, way, or form, then there will be people speculating on that for sure.
Is it going to be purely Bitcoin, or is it any of the crypto assets that have exposure to large-scale ETF markets?
That institutionalized markets.
Okay, so to extrapolate this one layer further from where we are right now,
yeah,
based on this theory, assuming it is correct, would it be reasonable to assume that anything that gets an ETF in this cycle, so to speak, aka the next like year and a half, 2 years, those are really going to solidify themselves as the key cryptocurrencies or cryptocurrency adjacent assets that are going to retain value long term?
I don't think that's quite it. I think that's going to be until 2030. My theory on this is that, yes, you're correct. The majority of all altcoins are just going to be gone, right? However, if you're looking at the things that are useful for these large institutions, right, like Polymatic and Disney and things like that, right?
DeFi is going to be a big thing. Yes.
Yes, it absolutely is. And I do believe those are going to be the ones that they're going to then they're going to hold Bitcoin as like the gold, but then you're going to have like Ethereum as like, say, an Apple stock or something, right? It's going to be the technology, right?
Well,
that's the technology.
ETH I would say is more comparable to oil, right? Because it's
oil. That's a good one.
Yeah, because it's a commodity, right? ETH is a commodity. Mm-hmm. And everything perpetuates around ETH, like the EVM. Like everything, all the dApps are built on ETH and then copied to all these other EVM chains, and they all copy the same shenanigans, and then money just flows around, right? For yield, essentially, right?
Absolutely.
That's how these markets work. And so, like, if you understand that, then you can follow the money. And like, you can look at Wormhole, for example. I was looking at it the other day when I was like, yo, Sui's about to fucking rip. Oh, it's a double bottom. Oh, the technicals look great. Let's rip into Sui. What did Sui just do? Fucking 130% move, right? Like, it's just simple as that. Like, just follow the money. If you can end up following the money around, then you can make money in this market. And yeah, obviously the end goal is to accumulate as much Bitcoin as you can, because I do think by the time my kids are my age, which is like 30 something years, we're probably going to be in like a hyper Bitcoinization type of environment.
It's going to be a digital age for sure. And that's also, you can include like AI and all that in there as well.
Yeah.
Here's what I think though, when we're starting to look at funds, I think they're going to go from like ETFs to like overall funds of their specific tokens that they like. I think that's when they're going to start involving a lot of different alts. But I think that's next cycle, not this cycle.
I think the real kicker for the alts and for them to really succeed is real world assets. So once they start putting real estate on chain, once they start putting all these treasuries on chain, once they start putting all these major things that are happening in real life right now, they go on chain. Those assets that are housing those assets are going to go up in value, right? So
yeah,
Ethereum
doing that right now, actually.
Ondo, right? Ondo Finance. You got Ondo, you got Pendle, you got a lot of these major RWA projects that are doing some really cool shit. Those are the ones that are probably going to make it long term because they have the assets. The assets are on chain. They have the thing. They have the thing, right? So like those are the ones I think that are going to really succeed long term. Your fucking shit meme coins, those are probably going to go to zero, most of them. Those are really just super speculative things that VCs aren't involved in. So the retail traders trade them and make money. And you're going to have those every cycle. Those are going to pop up.
Gambling, right? That's like the casinos and the shit that they like the quick flame and then probably gone. Who knows? Maybe they stick around. Maybe they turn into the next.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have a select few of them that stick around because they're like cults.
Yeah.
They're like cults, like communities, and like maybe they are building something that is viable. Maybe they do have a DeFi solution. Who the fuck knows some of these stupid memes? But like majority of them go to zero, for sure.
Yeah, mass majority too.
Do you have something, Nate?
Yeah, just one last thing to kind of finish us off here. So I think the memes basically, thanks to Solana and Pump.Fun, I believe that memes for the most part, like the gambling of memes, is for the most part going to be kicked out of the broad crypto space. Obviously that's still going to be a thing, but it's not going to be as big of a thing as as this cycle has kind of shown it to be.
But that's because they underestimate how stupid people are. People like gambling.
No, we don't underestimate that. We also don't underestimate that 99% of them bought the top and they're going to be wrecked and for life.
Yep.
Oh yeah, but then you'll have the new generation of jackasses that come around and buy the other top.
There's always a new sucker.
I mean, how many people? How long have people been going to casinos for? Like, people like to gamble.
Yep.
Casinos always win, but people still just go. Like, people like getting wrecked. Like,
no, it's not that
I've been in Vegas all my life. I know all about it.
They like the allure of
I know
50, 100x potential or something. That's what they like.
And
the potential probability of that.
Your living room. You don't need to go to Vegas. You can do it right from the comfort of your living room.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I've seen the gambling scene. It's they just keep going and going and going.
Yeah.
Like I said, we might not be those type of people, but most normies and NPCs, they're just programmed to operate a certain way. And like you tell them about good projects, but all they want to do is go gamble on shit coins.
Yep.
It's the shiny new thing, man. It is the shiny new thing. Speaking of shiny new things, the shiny new thing for us is to start wrapping this stream up. We're going to go ahead and transition into closing thoughts. Closing thoughts and things.
We still got to spin the wheel 2 more times.
Oh, shit. Yeah, you're right. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I forgot about that, Zenith. Good reminder. But after we spin the wheel, I want you guys to go ahead. If any of you guys got links that you want to shout out, go ahead and throw them up in the private chat. And while we're doing the closing thoughts and everything, I will drop your links into the
Zenith said he was going to host a 12-hour stream today.
Look, you say that, but I'll be honest. I will throw this out there for the world. Professor, you came on and have been throwing out a lot of fantastic alpha in the last half hour that you've been on, to the point where I messaged Axis himself and I said, hey, I think I found somebody that has actually arrived at the same point that you have, but from a different area to start with. If you want to hop on. We will run this stream as long as we need to, and there's good informative content. I am happy to do so as long as you guys are.
Well.
I also think
just
maybe
saying.
we should do a next Wednesday show for that one.
Well,
or we can book something. We can book something.
Sure.
I'm gonna send you my idea in the chat.
I stand corrected. All right, guys, we're going.
And we're already here.
I'm going for as long as we're going for. But before we do that, we have to do some very important things. One of which is do a fantastic stream giveaway. And the other one, as you guys all already know, is chat shoutouts. And then we'll get right back up onto this topic of conversation. So excuse me for splitting the thoughts and things here, but we're gonna go ahead and do or should we do both giveaways right now, Zenith, or should we do just one? What do you think?
Pick one.
We'll do one. All right.
Do
We're
one.
gonna do exactly one. Mrs. Producer, if you don't mind, I've got. Wait a minute. Okay, I've got the screen share up. Let me know if you guys can see it whenever we are good, because I can't see the screen right now. All I see is the screen share that I'm sharing.
Winner. We see your
Winner.
screen, good sir.
Draw again on the right-hand side.
Excellent. All right. So for the folks at home that don't know, you guys need to type in hashtag alcohol. Those are the only things that you type in is hashtag and alcohol. If you write other things, then it does not count as an entry. I can't control how StreamYard does their giveaways, but go ahead and type in hashtag alcohol in the chats. And I'm going to go ahead and draw again for another winner. Mr. Kenturian, you are being eliminated from this round. Mrs. Producer, if you wouldn't mind throwing up some fantastic sound effects. Aha, the entries have increased to 14. So fantastic. As more and more people join, we'll see that number go up. But if you guys want to go make alternate YouTube accounts, you can do that as well. Go for it. I don't care. But Mrs. Producer, I'm going to click that draw again button. Let's go ahead and hear some magical sound. Congratulations, Mr. Nate the Great.
Yeah, boy.
Thank you, Black Sheep. Thank you, brother.
You are the winner of one ticket to the Degen Protocol.
Look what I did to you guys.
Yes, look what you've done, bro. This is good, though.
This is good stuff. This is the best.
I gotta say, shout out to Black Sheep for doing
this
stuff, man. I love, like, I try and get on there as many days as I can. There's some days where I'm up in the tower or I'm stuck working and I can't get on the Degen Protocol like ticket giveaway stream, and I'm always like, I wish I could hop on the stream right now.
That happens to me all the time. I'm always at work and it's like, fuck.
Yep. Black Sheep is giving away tickets every day at 4:20 Pacific, which is 7:20 Eastern. So about 40 minutes before we go live over here on the Degen Roundtable, except he does it every fucking day. And he gives away 2 tickets and buys one for himself, keeping that lottery system alive.
I'm too busy smoking at that time.
Yeah, shout out to
1,395 days in a row. That's where
absolutely. All right, so next up, we've got chat shoutouts, and we're gonna hop right back into all the TA and all of the theories and the ideas, and I will be here to facilitate the conversation. So first up, Mrs. Producer, in our fantastic chat shoutouts, I've got extra ones in mind because StreamYard's being a silly goose for me, but we've got Swing Trade Pros, our very own Mr. Professor Know-It-All saying, yo, what's up, bro? Hey, you're here with us now. We're going to get back to your conversation in the near future. Next up is a question for Mr. Pulse Ray himself from our very own Tam Tam saying, when do you think Hex will top, Mr. Pulse Ray? And before I give you a chance to answer this question, I'll do the last final chat shout out. And this is from our very own Pulse Jitsu Crypto Farming with Fast Abdul saying, I see a camel toe pattern. And that's absolutely right. That was from Pulse Ray Vision's kick-ass charting abilities earlier. So shout out to Pulse Ray. Brother, Tam Tam's question was, when do you think Hex will top?
Things get bouncy in January. We get a fake rip in May, and then we get the real rip in September of 25.
Okay. So January bounce, May is a fake out. And then
this is all coming from the calendar of destiny.
The calendar of destiny. Oh,
the calendar
man.
of destiny is part of the green scheme.
With the moose knuckles on it.
Yep, the moose knuckles. Oh, it thinks that. Oh no, it thinks that you're a fake.
The calendar of destiny is making him disappear.
Oh, that's so funny. It's too
secretive.
We can't let the folks at home know.
Does that means that Hex Destiny is also to disappear?
Destiny.
I'm just asking.
Oh, Hexastani. Oh, Dylan. It could be. Very well could be.
No, I was just combining Hex and Destiny.
So those are the three dates for the folks to pay attention to. And again, reminder everyone, this is not financial advice on this channel. We're all just a bunch of assholes with our our best guesses and campfire stories here, sitting around the campfire, warming our hands, telling stories to each other, and hoping that we're really good at reading the tea leaves and throwing those knuckle bones and doing all that good stuff. Mr. Professor Noted All, yeah, hashtag campfire. I'm bringing it back, baby. Professor Noted All, do you have any thoughts or opinions on when Hex or any altcoins or any of those things will start reaching their tops? Do you agree or disagree with Pulse Ray?
I mean, you're going on based on a historical data of October 25 being the top of the cycle. It's just all really going to depend on global liquidity. I keep coming back to that because that's really the driver. They can, if they keep printing money and there's endless amounts of QE, I mean, maybe there won't be a top. It'll just keep running, right? No, I'm just kidding. But like there, I think, I mean, it's tough to really project a top. To be honest with you guys, typically what we've seen in the past is Bitcoin top out a year after its halving. And last cycle, it made its top in May. And we had that big drawdown, and then we made a double top in November. Okay. It may not play out the same way. If we get the rate cuts and we get the QE, we could be looking at a 2017 type of parabolic type of shenanigans going on. Okay. That could happen. It could also be underwhelming where Bitcoin just gets to 150K and that's the top. And these altcoins, most of these altcoins don't even really run aside from maybe ETH, right? Okay, but if ETH runs, well, we know RH is probably going to roll his ETH for Pulse Chain and pump it through a said bear market, right? Like last time. There's that. That can happen. Not discounting that fact that can happen for Pulse Chain and Hex. When is that going to top out? I don't know. When did Hex top out last cycle? Let's look at that chart.
Well,
I'm going to look at it.
In particular to Hex, I think there's two interesting points. One is determining the top out date, but also the second one is determining the steepest point in the curve, aka when did it really pop off the most. And I think that is going to be one of the things to determine. And it goes exactly back to what you were talking about earlier, which is that if we are moving away from a Bitcoin 4-year cycle, that is a paradigm shift. That is something so massive, it literally affects the rest of the market. Because right now, the total crypto market cap is sitting at like 2.3 trillion. Someone please correct me if I'm wrong. But outside of that, Bitcoin right now is sitting at just a hair over 1 trillion market cap. Which means that as it stands right now, Bitcoin is slightly less than 50% of the entire crypto market cap. But the thing that we're talking about here is that Bitcoin becomes the vast, vast majority of the crypto market cap. And that is the paradigm shift, which is that instead of Bitcoin topping first and giving way to the altcoins, which pump later, it's the inverse, which is that the Bitcoin is the forever pump and that the altcoins are the never pump. And that seems like the real fundamental shift in my personal opinion. Which is that, like, look, call me a bear all day. I still have 154K Bitcoin as my top. That is the top metric, in my opinion. I'm going to be taking a lot of profit if it ever hits there. I'm going to be taking a lot of profit before we get there.
I'll be front running you at 115K. Yeah.
Oh, you son of a bitch! Yeah. You and me are going to be
because the measure move of this structure is like 98K or some shit. So it'll wick through that. But yeah, I think. And you know what? That may not end up being the top. That might just be this movement that we get, and then we're going to get a major drawdown back to 70K, retest it, and then maybe one more final leg to like that 200 range or something.
Look, you're correct. There's two things I've talked to Axis about on this one, and we talked about it on stream on Sunday. Apologies if it was not on stream. But one is that we, get a retest of $38,000 Bitcoin, which is the bottom of the ETF launch. Because remember, Bitcoin ETF launched at $48,000. Grayscale sold like crazy, and then we dropped all the way down to 38K, and then we giga pumped all the way up to 74.5K. That is scenario number one. Scenario number 2 is that on the way to the forever 45-degree angle, aka up and to the right, is that we get a 30 to 40, maybe even 50% drawdown, but that size drawdown does not even invalidate the perpetual bull market that Bitcoin becomes. And it can even be construed as a theoretical 4-year cycle, just kind of like hiccup, which is like, oh yeah, we got a long cycle, we got a short drop, but yeah, we're back to it. It's like, based on the fractals and everything going on, there's the potential for these things to happen.
I would still say a lot of this is still driven by what the equities market's doing. There's still a lot of correlation between what Bitcoin does and NASDAQ.
I would put a grain of salt on this and say that this is arguably driven a lot by speculation, but at the same time, we're all trying to read the tea leaves right here.
No, I mean,
I have a quick question for both of you.
Sure.
Like you guys have a price point right at where you guys want to sell. So if you guys are going to sell, do you guys plan to buy back what you sold at the bottom and keep the profits or something along those lines?
I'll be honest with you.
Yes.
I'll be honest with you. I don't sell Bitcoin. So the answer to that is I don't sell Bitcoin.
That's right. This boy stacks. He stacks into Bitcoin.
Okay, and the only reason I'm asking that is because I like to see. I want to know the mentality of other people. Like Zenith say that if he sees a certain price and he's gonna sell it, then he plans to buy back though. And
correct.
Professor No doesn't plan to. So that means overall, Bitcoin's going up. Like overall, when you look at it long term, because people that sell at tops look for a bottom, and that's when people start buying up. Like they, and that's what I see with it. That so I don't see it going down in price. Like long term, like I just see whoever sold is probably going to buy more when they see that there's a bottom in.
So, Farmer, you have an absolute perfect point here. I'm sorry to jump in real quick. First off, shout out to Pulse Ray and the beautiful golden doodle, and I think there's another doodle at the bottom left. If you like dogs, is where it's at. But when it comes to your question, yes,
dogs make delicious tacos.
Yes, they do.
I don't know about that one. Okay. Anyways, to your point, I think that one of the differences between the professor and myself is where we are in our crypto history. Professor, correct me if I'm wrong here, but how many cycles have you been in the market?
I've been in the market since 2016.
Okay, so you're in for at least like two-ish
cycles.
Two-ish cycles. Okay, cool. This is my first full cycle. The reason that I am doing what I am, I've spoken about this publicly on stream before, and I'm happy to do it again, because I don't expect anyone to take this as financial advice. I'm telling you what I do, and I've also told you that I am a very risk-on, crazy kind of person. But what I'm doing is this is my first cycle, so I'm trying to maximize as much as I can. I am very much in the camp of, until the trend is broken, I will assume that the trend is going to hold, aka I am very much in the 4-year cycle camp. I am more than willing to hear out the people that say the 4-year cycle is breaking down and possibly turning into like an 8-year cycle or a forever up to the gold kind of like proof of security kind of thing. Whatever. I completely understand that, and I want to hear it out because that is how generational wealth is created. But me personally, I do plan to try to sell as much as I can at the top and rebuy in as much as I can at the bottom. The things that I have laid out in the past is that I think the 4-year cycle is going to hold. That's personal opinion. And the more data I get on this, the less better the worse I feel about that proposition. The second is I am going to set aside a little bit just to take care of the mad money guy the inverse Kramer rule. John Kramer, thank you. Yeah. Correct. I have a bit of money set aside just to prove Jim Cramer wrong or prove him correct in the inverse, if you will. And then
Jim
finally,
Cramer, there is no second best.
Exactly. And then I finally have a bit of a top point, which is I talked to Twinkie about this a little bit privately, and which is I want to try to create a bit of an index, which is the normie sentiment or the people that are onto it sentiment, aka for anybody that has been in the past and knows about like the dominoes effect with the Pentagon, aka whenever the dominoes in Washington DC gets really busy, it means that there's an international crisis going on. And conversely, in the crypto sphere, whenever the strippers are really feeling it and they're like, wow, the strip club's super empty. That is the bottom effect for crypto. I want to try to replicate something like that and understand when the sentiment is like too many people are very happy about what's going on, aka it's time to take some profits.
Just watch the Fear and Greed Index. That's all I'll say about that.
I hear that, but at the same point, I don't know if it entirely encapsulates what I'm trying to get at, because with the 2 dips that we had recently, back when we had it was the 4th of July dip, I think we dropped to about 25 on the Fear and Greed Index. And then we also dropped to 27 recently on the dip down to 54K. So in my brain, it's thinking about how the dip that was lower is technically higher on the Fear and Greed Index. So I understand how the price point works out versus the sentiment, but I want to ensure that it's the most optimal it can be.
So when it comes to like fear and greed, what happens is price moves and then people feel, right? And so when it comes to some sort of index that would be like that, it's going to be.
We might call that a lagging indicator, if you will.
A lagging indicator. Yep, exactly. So the only way that this is going to work is going to be if price is continuing and people are feeling
greedy,
scared, or people are feeling greedy, right? That's when this indicator is going to become important, because that it's like, okay, it keeps going up, keeps going with green candles, but now people are suddenly feeling kind of bearish or suddenly fearful. Wait a minute, that means we're going up even more, you know?
I'll show you guys something real quick, if I may.
Absolutely.
So I subscribe to Glassnode, and I think all of you guys should do the same. This is a pretty helpful indicator, and it's basically when most people are in profit. Typically, when most people are in profit, they bring the price down. And you can also look at like fear and greed stuff for that too. But if you look at like realized profit and loss is good, but unrealized profit and loss is what I'm talking about. So this chart is pretty good. The Newpol chart. It's not a chart of prices. It's a chart of. It's kind of color graded. You can kind of see it. So when we're in the deep red, this is typically the bottom of the market every time.
Are you sharing your screen?
Yes.
Just one second.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah, so you can clearly see right now when Bitcoin gets into this green zone, it's not, I mean, yes, last cycle, the green zone was the top of the market. So like this was a local top. This actually called this pretty good. Okay. But previous cycles, like 2017, we had that go blue, which was, towards the top line. Okay. And I think that if we do get this hyper parabolic move, that this will turn blue. And when it starts to turn blue on the Newpol chart, it's a really good time to just exit the market and not even think twice about it. It doesn't matter what the price is. Okay. And this is not necessarily a lagging indicator because it updates in real time. If you subscribe to Glassnode, that's it.
So okay, so when you're looking based off of,
what's that?
What's the indicator based off of?
This is net unrealized profit and loss. So essentially, when the market's in profit and when the market's in loss, when most holders are in profit and most holders are.
Is this an index number or a absolute number? As in, like, is this something that's like on a percentile of 0 to 100, or is this just a raw number?
This is based on the price of Bitcoin and where most holders are in profit or loss, and it's color graded. So like when we were deep in this red here, most people were in a loss. And that happened to be the bottom of the market.
That's fair. Just at a glance here, when I'm looking at this metric, what I'm seeing in my brain is I see higher highs and lower lows that eventually converge to less extreme numbers. So the thing that goes through my brain initially is that, is this indicator still accurate for a world moving forward? In which case, we're kind of moving towards the mean on this one, which is that the highs are going to be lower and the lowers are going to be high. So less gains, but less losses. Is that still valid with this kind of calculation?
Sure. because you can also look at not only, Newpoll. Newpoll's good because it gives you idea of where the market's at in terms of percentage of people in profit and loss, and they color grade it based on capitulation, hope, fear, optimism, like the fear and greed type of metrics. But like there's other metrics you can also look at that I also look at, like the SOBR and volume and profit loss. There's all sorts of different things you can look at here on Glassnode that can be taken into account. And the current accumulation that we just saw on this last crash was more than we've ever seen before since 2018. So that's a statement, right? Like, and that's something important to really take note of. Like, we all know that the halving just happened, so none of us are in the camp of that. The all-time high it's set in and it's done, right? Like, maybe we're all wrong. Maybe the top is in. It's done. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, that sentiment right there is a thing that's in the back of all of our mind, which is that, are we wrong? Did we top? Is it only down? It's a bit of the fear speaking, but at the same time, if you're not asking those questions, in my personal opinion, you're not asking the correct questions. Because, like, you got to check yourself. Because we can all look at the moon math and we can believe the hype, and we can look at the Richard Hart tweet that says $241,500 for Bitcoin this cycle. But at the end of the day, it's like, are you actually seeing that, or do you want to believe that?
I'm not really seeing that right now. What I am seeing is a further drawdown potentially in this market, is what I'm seeing.
I would agree with you. One of the
I was just saying what you just said, Zenith, of the what do I do if I sell, buy? It reminds me of that meme, right? If I hold, it just stagnates. If I sell,
one of my favorite memes.
Goes up 1,000%. If I buy, it goes down 99%. It's like, what do? So I just say, fuck it. I just keep buying a little bit more at a time.
Yep. Correct. And that's what I would recommend. And tether dominance is a pretty good indicator to check. If tether on the weekly and the 2 week is long, well, we're probably going to continue down, most likely. Once tether kind of shows, I would say, a capitulation to the upside on tether, where people are like, fuck, man, I got to buy some of this shit because, QE is coming, global liquidity is ripping, and S&P is, going to make new all-time highs, then it's going to become a completely risk-on environment again. But for now, I think we are going to see continued drawdown a lot in this market right now.
Agreed. I think two of the ways that I'm kind of bearish in comparison to the rest of the market right now is that I do think that we are currently in a risk down or risk off cycle, if you will, when it comes to traditional finance.
Yeah.
I think they had their run. They ran all the way from $38,000 to $74,500. That is better returns than they are going to see over the course of like 4 or 5 years, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
So we're seeing a bit of a risk off in that case in standpoint. And again, I think we're getting some numbers from the economy that support it, which is that we have very high inflation, we have very high unemployment right now of 4.3%. And I know I literally in the earlier part of the stream talked about how inflation is on a downwards trajectory of 2.9%, but congratulations, you are still at a new low of 40% higher than where you should be when it comes to inflation. So in that terms, it seems that I think that we are still higher up than we really need to be when it comes to the crypto market. And in particular, one of the things that I look into is the 60-day cycle. And I think that the Bitcoin 60-day cycle to this point still has not been disproven and is still very much in effect. We had that recent low of $54,000 Bitcoin at day, I think it was either 31 or 34. I'm going to have to go check my charts. But the point being that 31 and 34 is so far outside of the norm on the normal distribution or the Gaussian distribution, aka the bell curve.
Mm-hmm.
It's so far out of the norm, which leads me to believe that we are still going to see a lower low on the Bitcoin cycle. And in my opinion, I think that there are some decent support levels on the way down, but at the same time, I would not be surprised if we wicked all the way down to just a hair over $38,000 as a backwards retest of the level that we touched when we initially launched the Bitcoin ETFs. Because remember, we launched the Bitcoin ETFs at $48,000. Grayscale sold out a ton, All the people that have been trying to collect those profits over 4 or 5 years finally did so. Congratulations to you. I hope you enjoyed it. I think we're going to retest that low level, which was $38,000. And at that point, that could create the new perma support level for the Bitcoin for the rest of all time.
You higher than me, Zenith, if you think it's going to go down low.
Hey, I told the people at 32K they dropped their crack pipe. I don't think this is quite crack pipe territory. I'll be honest.
I think 38K is a liquidity area. Yeah, I mean, if it really gets shitty, and I'll say this, that it's possible, if it does get shitty, 32K was the hardest was the hardest level for Bitcoin to break this cycle. So
really.
It was. How many months did we spend below 30K, 32K?
Well, how many months of the bear market did we spend below 32K? That's the thing I would ask you in return.
I'll say this, though. Every single time, okay, we all knew that.
Wait a minute. How many times were we rejected at like 70 or like 69?
Yeah, a number of times. A good bit. We're talking about a different place in the market, in the price. Okay.
Correct.
So I'll say this. So at the 30K level, we were still more than a 50% retracement from the swing high to swing low, right? And typically Bitcoin makes new all-time highs. We all know that, right? Every cycle we make a new all-time high, correct? Trend is your friend until the end, right? Good.
Correct. The trend holds until it is
even this cycle we made a new all-time high, 74K. We printed it, correct?
I would argue it's a bit different in this case, but yes, your point is technically correct. We did reach a new all-time high.
So I would say, because nobody's expecting this, that if we were to get a major drawdown and there was another black swan event that happens right now, I don't know, maybe there's going to be this big war that breaks out or some shenanigans that they're going to pull to rug pull the markets. Okay.
Did you say booty pox?
32K. Okay. If that level gets retested, because we never actually, once we broke it, we never came back down to test it. We just broke it. We never tested it. We never retested it. We broke it and it was gone. Parabolic move to 48K, basically. And then we pulled back out of the ETF, right? There was no retest at 32K. So I'm in the camp of, if we're going to really go max pain, it's to go retest 32K.
Is that really max pain, or is it a juicy, very juicy opportunity to load up on Bitcoin?
It depends what kind of dry powder situation you're in. Yes, it could be an amazing buying opportunity for sure.
So just to reference the chart that I'm looking at here, this is the weekly Bitcoin chart. I see 2 areas, maybe 3 areas in which we actually have a support or resistance at $32,000. The first of which is when we are in January of 2022, aka the beginning of the bear market. We have a drop down to 32,000.
It's exactly the level that after we made the first top in the 2021 cycle that we came down to. 32K was our pivot to make our double top. That's the level.
So correct me if I'm wrong here, but what I'm looking at on my trading view is that we hit the first top in, March of 2021. We drop down to about 29,000, and then we bounce back all the way up to 69,000. Geez, that's a hell of a retracement. But yeah, we do that, and then we come back down to about 30.
Straight up, straight down. Yep, that's exactly right.
Yep. God, that's a wild move. I can hardly imagine what that's going to look like on our chart this cycle if something like that happens again. But the point is this. We come back down to about 30. I'm seeing 33,000 for a wick, 34,000, 35,000 for a bit of a bounce. We go back up to 45, 46,000. And then we come back down for a small blip at 32,000 before we hit a new local low at about $18,000.
It just depends on the buying pressure. Like if you really draw out what we're doing up here, we're in this like channel right now. So like I was in the original camp that if we were going to hold this 55K region, which currently we are, I would say right now that if we don't make candle closures below 55K, that we still have a chance at 67 to 70K retest. Okay. We're in the middle of a range right now, I would say.
Okay.
All right. if we start making closures below 55K on the futures chart, you can clearly see that's the daily 200 moving average. We start closing below that, we're just gonna roll over, right? And it can cascade below that level because you have 50K. That's the only level that you really have that we saw a lot of buying come in at. So there's probably going to be the same people that were buying it the other day there that are going to try to come in and defend it again, right? We'll see how this plays out. But like, truthfully, if they really want to dump this shit, they're going to dump this shit. So like 32K, I think that would be max pain for this market. People become completely disinterested in it, and then they just send it to 200K or 150K from there. That is what they do, potentially.
I see the 32K level. I just think that there's a lot of support you got to blow through until you get to that point.
All it takes is Japan unwinding some more. Just unwind. Then what? That happened in one day, dude. That was just like, boop.
Yeah.
We're going to unwind, bro. $3 trillion gone from the stock market, just like that. Boom.
Look, you're not wrong.
Correct.
Although the one thing against it, I will say, is that was the tiny, tiny blip of the Japanese interest rate jumping up like a half a percentage point from like 0 to 0.25.
That is how fickle and how illiquid these markets are right now.
Correct.
So it comes down to, like I said before, it comes down to the global liquidity.
I would agree. The reason that I think that one in particular is, I know I give a lot of crap to the traditional finance markets for being so slow to adapt to things, but when it comes to something like that, where it adapts in a day, if not over a weekend, is that was the most efficient way to borrow money in the entirety of the globe. And then because it moved up effectively a half a percentage point on the interest loan rate, that is what caused that massive blip. But at the same time, when you look at back at the U.S. markets and all the global markets, it's like they've recovered pretty good since then. So I don't know if it's quite the crash that we thought it was going to be. We had worries that it might be, and honestly, maybe some hopes that it would be the crash that we wanted. But at the same time,
I think they're using
that.
They're using that to paint the picture for the next crash. So that is ammo. That is ammo for them to create the next bear market. Is Japan raising interest rates and the U.S. crashing their interest rates, essentially, or you're not crashing them, but like rate cuts. And rate cuts come in, creating that trade for them to come back in to buy our market up. But they're going to unwind theirs and crash their market, and then it essentially will create a deflationary crash that I was talking about, and it'll crash all markets, not just theirs.
The way that I see it right now is that there's two scenarios. One is
I just got a quick question. He said,
hit it up.
During this deflation period, like, in your opinion, what would be best to hold? Would it be cash at that point?
Yep. Cash should be king, because it'll be a small window of time where you get those opportunities after the market crashes like that. And if you have cash to buy that crash, that is generational wealth opportunity.
That's what
I would agree. I think it's you got to understand the time frame that we're talking about, which is that for the very small time frame, which is like 3 to 6 months. Yeah, at the current point, cash kind of is king because markets have topped more recently, and in fact, in like the 3 to 6 month term, we have gone down a bit. But at the same time, the further back you extend that cycle or that time frame, the worse off it gets, because the market has done better on that time frame. It really is a matter of, like, I know it's an old adage of time in the market is better than timing the market, but what we're talking about right here is a little bit of timing, which, I mean, we're all trying to be professional, not like traders per se, as opposed to a professor here who is the swing trade pro. So yes, he is a professional trader, but as opposed to the Degen Roundtable, we're trying to be professional investors, which is that if you had the opportunity to get in anytime below like 25K Bitcoin, that honestly was the generational buy period. Granted, it was only between like 17K and 25K, but at the same time, that was the optimal like lifetime buy period, as about, or including any of the previous lifetime buy periods. But right now, in the 6 month market we're talking about, anything below 48 to 38K are prices that you probably will never see again, if maybe see once or twice again in the next bear market, if there is one. But the prices we're talking about now, it is, those prices are so low that, yeah, that's a generational buy opportunity.
Generational buy opportunities come only with time in the market, understanding when you have a perfect opportunity to invest. That's
Some
the
might
point.
call that a DCA strategy, but that's neither here nor there.
Dynamic DCA, maybe.
Also that.
I'm in the camp of any extra capital that you have doesn't really matter the price of Bitcoin, truthfully, because if you are in this for the long game, like 100K Bitcoin is going to be nothing burger in like 10 years, really.
It is the meme right now, 100K Bitcoin. Like, we're expecting psychological resistance, but Professor, like, you hit it on the head there, which is that there will be a point where the idea of Bitcoin under $100,000 is absolutely preposterous.
How about the idea that people don't even want cash for Bitcoin anymore? How about that idea?
Yeah, cash would be useless.
That's the idea that. Oh, you go ahead, Will.
I was just gonna say, like, there might, like, once something becomes the new version of cash, there is the argument that, like, it becomes less relevant. But I just think that, I don't know. We will certainly see, but I don't think that people will be trading their precious Bitcoin for dirty cashola. They might be trading precious Bitcoin for precious food. Yep. Or precious cars, or something that is like equally precious.
I was gonna say there's always gonna have to be like an actual like government currency, which Bitcoin is valued against too, so people know what to exchange it for.
No, they can eventually make Bitcoin the currency.
Yes,
yeah,
eventually. What we're talking about is the new world reserve currency, which ultimately, if you're looking at a world reserve currency, instead of having a single country control it, like say the dollar, which is an experiment that has been happening for the past 120 years. Instead of that, you're thinking of the idea of something that you are able to store as value that has on average been reserve currencies or stores of value, aka gold. So then instead, this is digital, worldly, right? The entire world is able to get it. And all of the world's currencies, no matter what country you're from, are trying to pour into Bitcoin, right? Because it has that ability, but hasn't been seen quite yet. Like it is going to be that next. What's the best word for that? Well, the next world reserve currency.
I would say the next anomaly is the word.
No,
I was just
Bitcoin is an anomaly.
You're still gonna have some sort of fiat currency that people compare it to. Right?
No. This is where you get it wrong. Look at this.
No,
so
I don't think
biggest
so. Like people, like you're thinking about your mentality and how you think. Most people are normies. They want to trust the government back something.
You know how you change that? Have you ever gone to another country with a different currency?
Let them finish.
They're not. Most people don't want that kind of freedom. They want to trust some sort of government. Look at how many people walked around with diapers on their face during COVID. People want to be told what to do. Like you're not going to get rid of that factor. Like I understand that'll be for the best if Bitcoin were the actual world reserve currency, but it's not going to happen because people want something to trust. Like they want to give up control.
Yeah,
and I think we had this conversation earlier when we had that MetaMask. Like people, like you're not going to change how people think. Like I get we're not on that spectrum,
thing, right?
Yeah, like we're not on that spectrum, right? We want self-sovereignty and controlled. We believe in doing our own banking, right? But most people aren't like that. Most people just want somebody else to take care of that for them. Like I don't get it myself. I think that's crazy. Like, but I'm not here to fight reality. Like people are just like stupid as fuck. Like I don't get it. Like why do you want to give up control? Like I said, people literally walked around with diapers on their face for months. Like what other argument do I need that people are just dumb as fuck?
So for the majority of history, humans have always had a king of some kind. It's always a king, a leader that says this is what we're doing, and then people
United
go, okay,
States
cool.
elected Joe Biden.
That was more of a this is a political take here, which is that I think the Joe Biden election was more of an anti-Trump election, but I think that's what it is.
No, just people are just stupid as fuck. People will vote against their self-interest.
Can I
on their feelings.
Get in there, Pulse Ray. Get in there, brother.
Please do.
It's gonna take 120 years to find out if Bitcoin holds its one tokenomic. 120 years. Do any of you guys plan on being here for 120 years besides Will?
Fuck no.
I'm trying to, brother.
I mean, look at those guns. He takes care of himself. But seriously, like,
this is a deep
Bitcoin's been forked,
I cannot believe this.
20, 30 times significantly. And they're like, oh, we're going to have a limited supply and that makes us gold. Oh, cool. When's that going to happen? Oh, in 120 years. Forget it, man. Forget it. Your one pump of metal is dog poo-poo. You are the Netscape. You're the Netscape of the internet.
Look, Netscape got to version 7.0. So,
yeah.
I'm just saying.
One thing I'd like to point out about gold versus how we know it today is back in ancient times, gold was not easily mineable or as easily mineable as we were able to find things now, right? We literally have sonic machines that can go down, like, are able to find a vein, be like, is this vein of ore of some kind gold? Oh, that's gold. Cool. Let's go down and get it. Now, what did they have to do back then? It was like, you luckily found it, right? And maybe you could kind of identify what the geology was, right? So back then, gold was way more rare than it is today. So that's something I do kind of want to point out. There's a possibility as we go along 120 years there, Pulse Ray, that maybe something changes, you know?
Well, Nate, I like the analogy, but by the way, Pulse Ray, he does also have a very good analogy there, which is that the Bitcoin halving cycle per se is we're not going to see the 21 millionth Bitcoin mine until I think it's 2140?
2135.
2035, thank you.
Yeah.
That is the date at which there will be around there. There will be 21 million.
But the emission rate of Bitcoin is going to significantly draw down every 4 years.
Correct. So if you thought it was a big deal going from, 6.5 Bitcoin to 3.125 Bitcoin this happening, it's only gonna keep cutting in half, boys. So keep on that. But the point is this, which is I think is alluded back to the idea of the MetaMask debit card earlier, which is that this instead, you may have thought it to be a two-body gravitational problem, but it's realistically that three-body gravitational problem. What I mean is that if you have theoretically in your own little virtual space two planets that orbit around each other, their orbit is very predictable. But the second that you introduce that third planet into that system, the amount of variables goes very much just exponential, and it's very hard to calculate. That's kind of what we're seeing right now when it comes to cryptocurrency, the US dollar, or long-term assets such as like traditional investments or like gold and other precious metals, which is that you have the long-term investment, aka gold and the precious metals or other investments, and then you have the US dollar, which is unfortunately inflationary as of, 1971, I want to say. And then other than that, you have the new invention, which is cryptocurrency, which is that you can keep measuring each one of these individual things against each other. But the second that you introduce that third ruler into the mix, you're going to start creating that triangle that's constantly shifting. And there will always be the most optimal way to move money, or in this case, what I'm going to call economic energy per se. There's a way to maximize your economic energy, or the inverse of that is to reduce the loss of economic energy, which is that eventually currencies go inflationary. Eventually, assets become so liquidated, or there's so much money in the market that there's not much movement. Or conversely, your gas fees are so high that they eat into the profits you're trying to cultivate. It is the three-body problem in effect, which is that we are trying to perpetuate or make sure that our economic energy that we produce with our bodies is transformed into something that accrues but also lasts the test of time. And I think that's kind of the core of the foundation of the conversation going on right now. which is how do we perpetuate this and make the most of it? I think we're at a point right now where there's enough low information on the internet, which is that if you could really dive into the trends and understand what's going on, you can do well when it comes to investments on top of your day job in trading that sweat equity for crypto equity.
Equity. I like that word.
So you heard it here first. If you understand how binary star systems work and how you're able to calculate where all the trajectories of all planets and everything move within that binary star system, then you are able to invest with your 9-to-5 job.
It's just the idea of, instead of having that one side or the two-sided ruler with inches and centimeters, imagine if instead you had a triangle with inches, centimeters, and like satoshis. So imagine if you could.
Quick comment.
Go for it.
What kind of man starts at 9 a.m., Nate? A man should be at work by 6 in the morning.
Correct. We call those project managers.
Well, I'm lazy as fuck then, because I start at 7.
I've got a hot take for you guys. A man should never stop working.
There you go.
That's right.
7/12s. What is that? That's only half.
I'm still working right now.
There we go.
What is sleep?
Node's working. Black Sheep's working.
We're all working, brother.
We're all working. Look at us.
True. By the way, I do want to toss it over to Pulse Ray and Black Sheep, because I feel like we've kind of been rambling for a bit. Pulse Ray, I really like your take there, but Black Sheep, brother, what do you think? Is this nonsense, or is this actual things to worry about? Or does the average person not
booted off a minute ago, so I missed the what was everything?
We were mostly shitting on Bitcoin.
Yeah, Bitcoin.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
The halving and stuff like that. I mean, I think Bitcoin is going to be, it's going to be Bitcoin. The institutions got a hold of it. Now it's going to be a big thing, and I don't think there's anything, but I do think DeFi's got a place to do big things too, and I think Pulse Chains, has the most potential of anything out there I see. I've been around and seen just about everything up until now, from everything from BitConnect to what we got now, and it's been a wild ride, and it's been a lot of diversity, and you know what I'm saying. It's just crazy to see how far we've come in just a few short years, like 7 years. We didn't have any of this shit like when I got here.
What do you guys think about wrapped Bitcoin on Pulse Chain?
I think it's a fantastic idea. Are you talking about the Pulse version?
Yeah,
I got a bunch.
It's fun.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love it.
I got a bunch of it as well, for what it's worth.
I unfortunately think it is in the camp of the other P stables, if you will, which is that it is a coin that does not have fundamental analysis, but more has technical analysis, aka it really just benefits from liquidity bonding and Hart's law. So
okay, so I'm going to disagree with you there, Zena.
Please do, please do.
Here's my thing on the P stables, the P stables God Trio and Wrap Bitcoin and even Ethereum as well. So what I think is that there's a narrative there, a narrative that can be spun. Now, obviously, a community of people, a very loud community of people, if they can get behind some sort of narrative of, hey, let's try and make this happen, people are going to try and make it happen, and they're going to go, especially a very smart community. They're going to go above and beyond to try and make it happen. What the hell is happening with PDI, right?
A very smart community or a very retarded one like the Pulse Chain community, which I'm a part of?
Well, that's a subset of a subset. But Nate, I have a question here for you, which is that I understand the idea of, was it the P Trinity you said, the God Trio?
The P stables God Trinity.
P stables. Okay, so why P wrapped Bitcoin in particular? Why that one? Not just like the entire space, but specifically, why this one?
Everyone's jealous of Bitcoin because Bitcoin is, the Father, the Leader, the Son, and the Holy Spirit all in one. And
so how is it tied to that?
It's tied to that because
name only, or is it there a
number one, because Richard Hart was originally a Bitcoin maxi. So that's number one. Right?
Is this number narrative two, or is this like physical tie?
Narrative. It's
okay,
all narrative. It's all narrative.
Yes, sir.
None of this is ever going to be physical tie. Nobody, unless they try. And again, like I was saying, if they really want to try to make something happen, the smart community will do something about that. But for now, it's all narrative, right? However, with the narrative, all you need to say is like, oh, it'd be a cool idea. This free version of Bitcoin on Pulse Chain's side, even though Bitcoin, there's only so much that's going to be there. It was wrapped over here and copied. Let's try and make this be as much as the original Bitcoin. And now they're going to start, liquidity bonding. They can do something like that. They'll probably be implementing some sort of like buy and burn sort of system. There's probably new technology that'll come out later, some new ideas from people much smarter than me. But here's the baseline, though. All you need to do is have a community say, hey, I want to try and make that happen. And the second people want to try to make it happen, they're going to find a way to make it happen. What happens when humans go, hey, I want to fly? They try and create an airplane.
I thought they jump off the roof, but okay.
A lot of them get injured, but eventually one succeeds, and now we're at where we're at now, right?
Agreed. I understand your point.
What do you think the possibility of wrapped Bitcoin going to like 10K this cycle? Is that a possibility?
What the fuck?
What's it at right now?
It's at $100. It's at $100.
$100 to 10K is what? 100x?
Yep.
Well, the other answer I would have for you is, what is the liquidity?
So if Pulse Chain is going to do some crazy numbers, like everyone's projecting, like what, 50x for Pulse Chain down here?
This might sound crazy, but 50K is a very conservative take, I would say. Which is that based on
I said 50x for Pulse Chain.
Excuse me, correct. Yeah. 50x is a very conservative estimate for new layer 1 blockchains that have good functionality and are able to, I don't know, not shit the bed per se.
Okay, so with that being said, if Pulse Chain does a conservative 50x from here, the liquidity on all of these assets is going to be what? 50x?
I'm not trying to insult wrapped Bitcoin on Pulse Chain here, but I do believe it is a low liquidity, low market cap coin. I know, how dare. Low liquidity, aka none of you people have bought into it that much, but it is low liquidity enough, which is that it can really benefit from the effect, which is that can the price itself appreciate to 100x or a 50x on the conservative side, like you said here? Yeah, it's absolutely possible. But here's the second part. Can each individual person, can everyone out there who is invested in this project get 50x out of their returns? No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah, but I don't think most people that gamble at that level, like if you look at the kind of communities that are buying it, like they're not really going to sell that much of it. They're all going to take a profit, but most of them are going to hold because they're just those kind of people who's buying wrap BTC. I mean, who's buying fork BTC on Pulse Chain?
Farmer, spell it out for us. Answer the question. Who is?
Retards like me.
I'm not trying to be a jerk here, but like actually like taking the next step further.
Yeah, like I bought a little bit, like retards like me.
Who buys it? And then how do they effectuate that strategy? Like who is putting that money in?
I'm probably gonna hold for too long. And I'm probably just going to sell a little bit and keep the rest.
All right, brother, hear me out. I don't mean to dox you too much on this one, but are you trying to tell me that more than 5% of your entire crypto portfolio is in wrapped Bitcoin on Pulse Chain?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, that is the minimum threshold that I would argue is something that is reasonable.
Because no comment.
Yeah, you'd be shocked to see my DGen bag.
Look, I know that is entirely in the feeder bag, and look, I'll put it this way.
And I'm not talking about for me specifically because I be enough in these chats where like I don't say nothing, but I scroll through.
My biggest holding right now is teddy bear,
and I see.
I feel that.
It's like 50% of my portfolio,
brother. I'm down like 70% on my LUSD or whatever it was. I saw the GIF gang come out on it, and I was like, oh yeah, this is cool technology. I like that. And then it has only been down since then. And I'll absolutely tip my hat to you, good sir, which is that, you know what, the second best pulse chain investment I've made is putting $200 into the goat feeder. Because in that time, like 3 months ago, pulse chain has continued to drop, but that is a DAI currency, which is that is calculated purely in DAI, and that has gone up. And in like 3 months, I think I've made like
I see what you're saying,
30, like 35% ish on that that investment. So like, I'm not gonna lie, the feeders, if you expect price to only go down, feeder's pretty banging. But also at the same time, if you expect price to go sideways or slightly down, the feeder is also the banging. If you expect pulse price to go up, congratulations. If you're in the GOAT token, that is also tied to pulse chain, which means that also goes up.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to shill for anything here, but I'm saying that like you guys have made a good system that has very much incentivized the action that has been going on lately. So like absolutely hats off to you guys. Made a good product.
And even with the huge drop we had in Pulse, our treasury is still higher than it's ever been. It's still over the all-time high of where we were at when Pulse was at its top. So I think it's working, and I'm curious to see what happens.
That's something to absolutely flex on, which is that because you guys are higher now at the bottom. Like, remember this stream, we talked about how this week we met pulse chain all-time lows, but the goat feeder is still at the highest it's ever been.
Sell some kidneys,
because basically that $200 deposit you make to compound every time DCAs the whole time the pulse chain is coming down. And then that treasury.
How many people do we have in there? How many people are in there?
There's only like 184 people in there right now. It's been going smoothly for almost a year now. Yeah, we're going
can you
10 months tomorrow again? Or the next day. Huh?
Can you post the link again for the
it's DJprotocol.io. Yep.
Somebody post it.
We'll get it going. But yeah, DJN Protocol has a lot of stuff going on. They have is it, the feeder, the lottery, the NFTs for partial validators. Like even outside of the fun stuff, there's legitimate hardware or
we also have
software
Node
going
NFTs.
Node's got NFTs. If you want to buy a portion of his training skill, or no expectations, but
basically calls that he makes, we just pull the money together and we go into positions, and eventually they'll be in profit.
Look, the point is, you guys have been doing killer. Part of it, I will fully admit, in my opinion, as not in a founder or someone deeply invested, but like a little bit invested, which is that like Pulse Chain has gone down because you invested in stable coins as part of the feeder, and the rest of the price went down. You have theoretically gained as an inverse of the down.
Yep. Exactly.
So there's a benefit there, but at the same time, it's like this is a legitimate project on Pulse Chain, and I think that in and of itself says something about the community and what's going on that blockchain. We're at all-time lows right now. Congratulations. For the second time, if you ever wanted to buy all-time lows, now's your chance. You can either back it up with what you're saying and go make that purchase. This is not financial advice. I'm just saying, if you're going to try to come flex on me about it, I'm going to come give you the rational response to it, which is, did you buy one of the two lows? Literally two lows. Typically, there's only one, but you had an exclusive opportunity where there were two. So you can either buy one of the two lows. If not, well, you made good gains theoretically sometime in the future, but not right now. It doesn't get better than now.
What's funny as hell about that is I've been continually taking out loans too throughout the years and just buying the lows every single time. It's hilarious as hell. With that being said, Node, I do want to say I took a look into it, right? So basically what you're saying is wrapped Pulse Bitcoin going to 10,000 this cycle. Well, that would be 100x from current prices, right?
Correct.
And so if Pulse 100x's, why would not something that is leveraged on Pulse go even more than 100x? That's number one. Number two, as far as the liquidity goes, it's right around 200,000 in liquidity. So if you simply 10x that liquidity, which would be 20 million, right? That 100x is the price.
Correct.
10,000. It is actually not out of the realm that is a very real possibility.
I know. I know.
Boo. Excellent pun, but boo.
But yeah, I mean
he is a father after all.
The other thing, the allure with wrapped Bitcoin on Pulse Chain is that it's Bitcoin. It actually is Bitcoin in the sense that it's a forked version of wrapped Bitcoin from ETH, and there only being 154,000 wrapped Bitcoins on Pulse Chain creates that scarcity factor as well. So, and it's part of the whole Atropa ecosystem in that DAI. It's not, well, I guess wrapped Bitcoin is part of that Atropa ecosystem. Am I wrong by saying that? Is it?
Pulse wrapped DAI is part of the Atropa system.
Pulse wrapped Bitcoin is part of that.
How is it part of the system? I don't.
Okay, well maybe Bitcoin, the Bitcoin section is not part of it, but DAI has a big.
They're utilizing it in their liquidity bonding. That's it. They're all the stuff they're doing.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
So if you look at it ratio wise versus DAI, it's like 53,000 DAI right now for one wrapped Bitcoin. So like if DAI goes to peg, which, well, who knows if that's going to happen, but if it does, I don't think that's going to go to, I don't know if that's going to happen, but I do have a target on DAI here of 3 cents. That is probably a likely target by the end of this run, I would say by December or January, sometime in that.
Okay, now we're more specific because when you say this run, what do you specifically mean?
I think the next 4 months we get to like 3 pennies, and the reason being is because the last run up that it had did about a 40x from its low, and so I think because there's more liquidity right now, the law of diminishing returns exists, so it's about a 20x from here, and we're in a massive falling wedge pattern on this asset, and you got the divergence too, so it's a specimen for a major move. So yeah, 2 to 3 pennies is my medium term target for DAI. And so if DAI can do a 20x, why can't wrapped Bitcoin do a 20x from here?
Hey, Prof, if you have the contract address for that, can you shoot it to me in the private chat?
Wrapped Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Or PDAI, I thought. I can't find it right now for some reason.
Is it PDAI or
It's
Pulse
just DAI.
wrapped Bitcoin?
It's just DAI stablecoin.
Is it DAI/WPLS?
Yes. It's
not DAI from Ethereum.
001820 right now. It's a $40 million market cap with also 200K in liquidity.
I don't know why, but Dex Screener right now is showing me something called DAI Hard.
Oh, no.
That's mean.
Believe me, I know that is not the correct thing. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on?
Anyways, if you chart all these assets versus Pulse Chain, they all look bullish as F. So like, why wouldn't you want to own some of these tokens that look bullish versus Pulse Chain? Saying. There will be a point in time where they don't look bullish versus Pulse Chain because Pulse Chain will start outperforming them. But in the interim, I think these PRC20s are going to outperform Pulse Chain for the next 4 months before Pulse Chain really starts taking off. And the trade, actually, my trade with the wrapped Bitcoin is actually to really roll it to real Bitcoin. Okay, that's my trade.
That's a good trade. I would argue that's a very good
my
trade.
personal opinion about the whole thing is like we're probably going to need ETH to go to some type of number that he wants to start moving over some money. And I'm in the same camp as, like all the research that Nine Iron Capital did about the, Richard Hart controlling the Maker DAO. I mean, why would he have all those tools and not want to use them later on? And I feel like he's going to have enough money eventually to collateralize all that shit, and we might see just DAI go straight to $1 overnight. So I don't know. A lot of speculation out there, but nobody knows.
Technicals can't tell you that data, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. BlackSheep, I'll put it this way. Professor here said that right now, if I'm looking at this correctly, the price of DAI on Pulse Chain or PDAI is 0.001815, or it's about 0.2 of 1 cent. So if we hit the professor's trajectory at 3 cents, that means that it is about a 16x. If we hit $1, that is over 100x. If you want to,
it's like 400. It's like 480x. Yeah.
Exactly. If you want to split the difference, that's like still over 100x, which is kind of wild. I'm not saying your prediction is like, believe me, brother. Oh yeah. Like, look, if that hits $1, we will be retired. I had someone recently ask me if I was a full-time crypto streamer, and I said, "What are you talking about?" As in, that's the craziest question someone's ever asked me, as opposed to, can I stick this fire alarm inside of a acid high environment? And I said, hell no. But the point is, if PDI does hit $1, yeah, you're going to see a lot of Hexkins retiring, brother. And that's a good thing.
You can't just bury the lead like that. I want to learn more about this acid and fire alarm story, because that was a hell of a tease right there.
Well, it's more of that's more of the age-old engineering question / project management or engineering question, which is someone somewhere who doesn't understand the technicality is like, why don't we just stick this thing in there and it'll call it good? And it's like, all right, this is not going to work for so many reasons. Would you like the first 5?
NASDAQ futures are ripping.
Really? What are we seeing, boss? Show it up.
The Nikkei is also ripping. It's up 1.5% right now. That's ripping. But why?
I like the ripping.
1.4% for the Japanese market. That's a pretty big move. Yeah.
I do think it's a bit of a meme in and of itself that traditional finance has big moves at anything over 1%, as opposed to the crypto gang here, which is like, we dropped 30% in a day.
The S&P is a $30 trillion market. So yeah, 1% move. That's a lot of fucking dough.
You're not wrong.
NASDAQ's up 0.5%. That's no joke. The NASDAQ. S&P 0.25%. It's definitely getting some follow through off this weekly hammer candle that I printed. We'll see how this plays out.
True. Tell you what, Will, how we doing on the stream? We're coming up on 3 hours here. Like
I'm
love
down
the
to go for as long as you guys are going. So as long as we're still talking, I'm still.
Yeah, this is a record stream right here, huh?
Yeah, we are at 3 hours right now.
BlackSheep, there's a great irony, which is that you are solely responsible for any of the streams that we've had on Whiskey Wednesday that have run over 2.5 hours. So congratulations, my man.
It's because of
you are the common denominator.
It's because of me. I failed to mention to you guys that I'm a bit autistic, so yeah, there's that.
Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club.
I was gonna say I got no bitches, so I can stay here as long as possible.
No bitches? What? What?
I'm out of them at the moment.
That's unfortunate because the professor actually is a father and a productive member of society as opposed to the rest of us. So,
hey,
ladies and gentlemen, boys
sorry,
and
not
girls,
to dox you too much, but like hats off to you, my man.
Ducks and squirrels, it's time for chat shoutouts, guys. All right, we're gonna do chat shoutouts real quick because we've been racking them up while we've been jibber jabbering away. So it's time to shout out the chats because it's been about an hour, and then we'll do another. We'll do the final giveaway.
Spin the wheel.
So, first and foremost, I would like to say thank you to my brother saying like the button. You guys know which button that you need to like. You are absolutely right, Sam. Thank you, sir. Good to see you. Next, we got Beyond All. Beyond All. Beyond All. What about
this is a good question.
The 20 or the 210K Bitcoin that the US government is having? Could that send it to 32K?
So there is some speculation on this that it's odd speculation, but I'm going to throw it out there anyways. There's a possibility that the government doesn't want Trump to hold the Bitcoin, and so they're going to try and take what they can get and kind of sell.
Oh,
I think Kamala's going to sell it and disappear with the money.
But here's the question.
God. Are you saying Kamala's going to cheat it?
Yeah, she's gonna grab it and hit the old skedaddle out of here,
Oh,
here's the question though: is that
hold on? Before we go too far, I'm gonna do the rest of the chat shoutouts, and then we'll continue on the stock. Can you hold it, Z? All right, sweet.
We can hold it like we're on an airplane.
Awesome. All right, next up we got Crypto Dave saying tax deferment and tax avoidance strategies are very important too. This is something that I learned from Bristology.
Absolutely,
there's a lot of Hexicans that know about these tips and tricks. So make sure that you guys watch Matty Allen's Hex Therapy show, and oh shoot, I can't remember what his Thursday show is called, but watch Matty Allen's 2 streams so that way you can ask Bristology questions about taxes and how to be a sharp and wise hexagon, pulsican cryptocurrency.
Is the Thursday stream called Game Theory Gang? Is that one?
That might be it, actually. That might be it, the Game Theory Gang. But yeah.
Also, Corey Geary will help you out with real estate as well.
Corey Geary
real estate and avoiding taxes that way.
Corey Geary, I think Crypto Coffee talks about it. I know that DCC and Charlie, they talk about it in the Crypto Mindset course. So if you guys haven't taken that already, I highly suggest taking it.
Awesome.
It's a good course. You'll meet some great people. It's a great networking opportunity. Just fantastic all around. But yeah, definitely tax dealing with strategies, whether you're avoiding them or paying them as efficiently as possible or something like that. Next up, we got
high, sell low. Buy high, sell low, never pay taxes.
Yes, sir.
Next up, we got Silver's Raleigh saying, "I like Node's charts." Rect confirmed. So hey, we can all hold hands. We can all hold hands together as we go down with the ship. And
Will, if you don't mind, can we double plug the professor here? Which is that if you like those charts, Professor, where can the people find your charts?
Oh
check out Swing Trade Pros. You can join my Discord, and I'm there all the time.
Swing
Love
Trade
it.
Pros.
And he's generous enough to come on stream and try to convince us folk, the fellow autists, if you will, about what's going on.
Swing Trade Pros.
I'm only ever so slightly on the spectrum, but yes.
You know, there's a third place that we can find you, actually. It's the gentleman right next to you. Is there a Telegram you hang out in?
There is.
Where can we find that?
Yeah. Yes, that you want to type it in the chat?
Yes, sir. Or shoot it to us in the private chat. We'll put it there for you.
Degen _ if I can spell.
But we do have some more chat shout outs to get back to. So
yes, we do. Apologies.
While we're dropping that in the chats, go ahead and make sure you guys follow them. Next up, and finally, we've got Mr. Chad Donnerschwanz. Hello, only to fellow based crypto bros. Hello to you too, Mr. Chad Donnerschwanz. It's nice to see you back in the chats again. Always glad to have you, amigo.
For Mr. Don Schwannersons, the chattiness himself, salute, brother.
Yes. Salute.
He's an excellent supporter of the channel, and we really appreciate him each and every time. Here's to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it won't let me post it, so I put it in the private chat if you want to post it.
Oh, yeah, put it in the private chat.
We will get you, brother.
We got you.
Yeah, we hang out there every day, pretty much all day long. We live in that. It's our second home, so if you guys have any questions about the protocol, you're welcome to come in and just ask. I'm usually in there. Usually around noon, and I'm in there till after the stream. And I've been over here all night. Shit.
Beauty.
Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Oh, fuck yeah, bro. Fuck yeah. Always a good time.
Whiskey Wednesdays.
Are we doing the last giveaway right?
We got one more.
By the way,
put in the hashtag alcohol. Hashtag alcohol. BlackSheep, can you give us one more word of the day if you don't mind?
You need the little filter thing, right?
We need it. We need it.
Okay. Let's see. The magic word of the day is. I can't even do it. The magic word of the day is post chain.
Hell yeah, bro. That's fantastic. Yeah. I love it. I love that you're able to do that live. That's so cool. It's like I'm talking to a celebrity, bro. This is fucking kick-ass. All right.
So I gotta learn how to do that, man. Anyways, let's get back to the chat shout-outs.
Make sure that you got that was our last chat shout out. So the next chat shout out, and I'll bring this back up once we're done with the stream giveaway here in a moment. But it's beyond all's. What about the 210,000 Bitcoin that the U.S. government is having? Could that send it to 32K? So while you guys think about that answer, Mrs. Producer, if you would be so kind as to go ahead and share my fantastic screen over here. I've got this giveaway tool, which is actually just Zenith. If you ever want to do it, just log into the Degen Roundtable producer thing, and then you just type in StreamYard.com/giveaway, and that's how you do it. And then you type in the words and things, and then there's the draw again option up here. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got 14 entries. So if you guys have not typed in hashtag alcohol, then you need to do that now because time is running out.
Hashtag alcohol.
Yep, hashtag alcohol. I'll give you guys about 10 seconds to do so because I know that there's a bit of a delay in between me saying things. And
we're gonna be benevolent here, which is run it twice, baby. Run it back.
Oh,
we'll do both. It's not 3, but 4.
We just got another entry. So good thing you said that, Mr. Zenith. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crypto degenerates, ducks and squirrels, Mrs. Producer, get ready to hit those fantastic sound effects because I'm hitting the draw getting button. And
hey, Crypto Dave, hit me up in the Telegram. If you hit me up, I got you, brother. Show me Hexlen. Hey!
Oh.
He is not here, but we got him.
We know how to find you. We know where you live.
That we do.
You live on the internet, just like the rest of us. That's the wrong tab.
One more time, baby.
We're gonna hit. Oh, okay. Oh, actually, this is probably a good opportunity for us to show how this stuff works. So the lottery, this is a lottery right over here. So Zenith's basically just gonna go in here, type in the amount of money that he wants to send to people, and then he just sends them the tickets straight there. And then, like,
damn, Will, you got 11 tickets? What is this?
I've got 11 tickets, man. I've been a good watcher of the Degen Protocol's daily streams. Yeah. So this is one of my wallets. Actually. Yep, this is one of my wallets, and it has 11 tickets in it. So I won't dox how many tickets I actually have, but yeah, that's how the Degen Protocol lottery ticket thing works. So you can see all this stuff over here. It's super cool. But anyways, good job, Pulse Ray Vision. Oh, look at that. We've got another 15 entries, so we're going to draw again. So if you guys are ready, Mrs. Producer, get that trigger finger ready. Away we go.
Oh, Frank White, let's go!
To Frank White. He also wins a whole bunch over on the Degen Protocol. So fantastic. Good stuff, everybody. Make sure you guys check out the Degen Protocol's website. Again, it is degenprotocol.io and then / like, whatever you want all these things to see. This is the XLUSD stuff they were talking about earlier, where you can basically put, look at that. It's already got fucking leverage against XLUSD. Or against regular Pulse LUSD.
It's already up 15%. We'll call it.
Look at that. Look at that, guys. This thing has been out for like, I don't know, a little bit. And it's already
just like a week, I think.
Yep. All right, Mrs. Producer, I am all done with the screen share. You can go ahead and close that out whenever you are ready.
I threw people off with the magic word out there. We had people typing hashtag posting.
Oh,
that's true.
I thought you wanted a new magic word. That's my bad.
Will, run it. Can you run it one more time with Pulse Chain?
I can. Oh, with Pulse Chain?
Do you want to?
Yeah, the new magic word, if you will.
Yeah, the new magic word of the day. Yeah, can you guys
ladies and gentlemen, you have like 30 seconds to get it in.
Type in
hashtag Pulse Chain. Do it. If they're at the end of the stream, they deserve it. They deserve it.
So this is what it looks like. I don't know if it's still doing the screen share.
I see Farmer. I see you over there, brother.
All right. Ooh, we got 7 entries so far. Hashtag
Let's go.
All right, guys.
I'm gonna do one more time, just because
time goes by. So oh damn, there are 35 chat entries in the chat. Thank you guys for fucking hanging out with us, both you guys on the panel and everyone in the chats. Like, holy shit, this is kick ass.
Will, do you want to milk this a little bit more?
I wish you'd have chosen different words for that, but yeah, what's up?
I mean, the reason that I say we're milking it is that because I want to give the people at home a chance to feel the stream delay, which is that we stream through StreamYards. I know. We paid to remove the watermark, but they are the people that we stream through. So that is how we do it. If you've ever thought to yourself, man, I wish I could be a streamer. I wish I could waste my time on the internet like these people. And look, you might, but at the same time, there's a good chance you might just hang out with the boys, which is exactly what we're doing here tonight as my face is covered up by the chat. Thank you, StreamYards, for that, as I pay you for it. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Anyways, the point is I am rambling to make sure that you at home have the opportunity to type in hashtag PulseChain because, believe me, I understand there was a time when I also typed it like 12 words per minute. It was the hunt and peck on the keyboard at the max. But now... I don't know if I'm at like the top level, but I think I get. Okay. I think I can do like 100 words per minute. We might have to do this in a one of the Telegram Tuesday calls where I have to take a typing test live. I'll do it. Don't tempt me. I will do it. I hear that clickety clacky. That is a good click. By the way, if you have a clicky keyboard, you are the worst. It is Cherry MX Brown's Cherry MX Brown keyboard. That is the best keyboard because it is good feel, it is good tactile function, but it does not make the click.
Gee, I
Cherry
wonder where
MX
he learned all of this.
No. This is not from
Art.
SciVive research. I'm pretty sure SciVive talked about how Cherry MX Reds is the #1 standard, but at the same time, that is sheeple energy. Cherry MX Reds is basic. Cherry MX Browns. Now we're talking. All right, Will, run it one more time, baby.
Yeah, look at all these tickets. All these tickets keep going away. The ticket count keeps going. All right, sweet. We got one more entry. That was a good job killing airtime there, by the way. I approve. All right.
I was talking about I provided value, pure value.
You did great. All right, Mr. Producer, get ready for some sound effects. Here we go.
Show me Sam. Show me Sam.
Oh,
double it up.
Look at this guy.
Bullshit. This is bullshit.
Damn.
You was last second
Doing
too, bro.
very well.
Yeah.
Congratulations
Oh my
to
God.
Full Story Vision for his fantastic wins. Ladies and gentlemen, it's rigged.
What an
What can I
absolute
say?
gangster.
What can I say? All right. And I think I am finished with the screen share, Mrs. Producer.
Oh, that was fun. That's always fun.
Yep. I like the giveaways. The giveaways are fun.
I enjoy my giveaways.
Who doesn't
dude.
love a good scratcher? Come on.
It's
Yep.
a good it's a good way to get the community involved, get the chats rolling in. I mean, so check it out. I'm looking at the we've got 21 people watching right now, and there was like 10 entries. So that's a pretty there's like 10 or 11 entries. So that's a pretty damn good ratio. And I will discount myself because I was watching. So 20 people watching, 10 entries, 50%. That's way better than you get in a lot of streamers, like the amount of chat interaction and stuff. So good for all you guys that are over here watching.
No, these episodes that we put on every other Wednesday is like these episodes are for you guys, quite frankly. Everyone who's watching. Our community is basically, I would say, the best. Like we got the best guys in the chat, frankly. And like, this is for you guys. Fun time.
I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of a mix between like every other Whiskey Wednesday. We'll just have like a good old community time. We'll come on, shoot the shit with the boys, hang out, have a good time, and then the other Wednesday on the reverse side of the cycle is we pull up charts, we talk about some really out there stuff, and we really just like merge all of the information like we did tonight with the prof, with Access Live, with everybody else in the panel, and we just really like get that information all together and just distill it down to the purest sauce that we can. Granted, it's still in the Black Sheep 3 hours and 16 minutes world record of DRT streams, but we distill that information down for you guys. And we have a time.
I like it. I just got hit up, and I'm making sure that they know to reach out to you for tickets and things. So very good.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Very good. All right. What the fuck were we talking about? Oh yeah, 210 Bitcoin that the government has, right? So what the fuck's the big deal with that? What the fuck's going on, man? So what are they gonna do? They're gonna sell down the Bitcoin to 32K? Or is it gonna disappear? Or are they gonna keep it? Who knows? What do you guys thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know.
I gave you my
That's
max pain. I gave you my max pain target. I don't know if we're gonna get there, but if that tether chart continues to tick up like that, we might see something like that.
That tether chart is an interesting one. It really is.
But I also look at the tether market cap and USDC market cap, and I just saw a huge spike today. It minted like, I don't know how many billions of dollars. So eventually what happens is they allocate that.
Yeah, it's usually like when they're printing, injecting liquidity into like economies and stuff like that.
Yep.
Basically, it creates a huge amount of extra money that eventually trickles down into people with regular 9-to-5s, farmer. That then they can just take that extra money. Hey, I'm gonna go invest it somewhere, and it's usually risk on at that point.
I've already had second breakfast by 9 o'clock.
So the tether dominance chart also ticks up when they mint Tether because it adds to their market cap. So it's not always just people selling crypto for Tether. It's a combination of the two. So that metric can be sometimes a bit skewed, which I don't live and die by that chart. But if you do see momentum shifting and volatility at the bottom and things like of that nature, then we can probably expect more volatility to the downside.
I think that the government's going to diamond hands their Bitcoin because they don't want anyone else to have it. That's my theory. And that's just based on my general greed that governments do things that make them powerful. And if Bitcoin's worth lots of money, then they probably keep it. Now, they might take out leveraged loans against it or something like that. You know, the Fed might borrow some money by the Bitcoins. In addition,
there's a clicky keyboard,
or they might take out loans.
Sorry, it's
keyboards.
It's a gaming keyboard, so I apologize. Yeah.
I got you, dog. I got one too.
Yep, I got that one.
Well, I'm actually going to take the not the positive or the negative, but the neutral standpoint on this, aka the third standpoint, which is that I think whenever governments at this point today, whenever they have Bitcoin that they're talking about, they really only talk about it in the sense that they want to sell it at some point, or they have to sell it. This is specifically, I'm referring to the case when it comes to one of the, oh gosh, it might be a precinct in Germany. We covered it a few weeks ago, which is that they seized 50,000 Bitcoins in part of a recovery process from a illegal movie streaming site. And due to the process that they had to get rid of the Bitcoin within 6 months. AKA, guess when 6 months was? Kind of at the top of the market. So they also sold right when FTX was rumored to be paying people back and when Mt. Gox was paying people back. So it was that kind of double or triple tap that really hammered the market home and showed that they were just hammering the market. And I think that's part of the reason that they helped create that excuse me, I know I was saying 54K Bitcoin bottom previously, but I double checked my charts. 54K was the previous bottom. 49.5K was the most recent bottom. That is the one that I've been referring to all stream, and I apologize for that mistake. So that is the bottom that I've been referring to, and I think that the German government helped make that bottom.
So no 11K in pray. None of that. That's not happening then? I'm guessing not.
It's is it possible? Yes. Is it probable? No.
Anyone else have any thoughts about Bitcoin? All right. Does anyone have any thoughts about anything?
Yeah, you can get it cheap on Pulse Chain.
Oh yeah, the
yes, sir.
That's true.
Yeah.
Has anyone? I'm sure that there's some bridged over Ethereum Pulse or Ethereum wrapped Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, there is.
I'm sure there's a good bit of that. I know there's a good bit of a lot of things like there's some chain link. There's some the only bridge right now is from Ethereum, right? They don't have any other bridges, any other chains to Pulse Chain yet. I know they're working on Binance.
I mean, no, there's other bridges, but like for the most part, most of the assets have been bridged through the Pulse Chain bridge. Even though like ERC20 copies of like BTC, like that's been bridged over through there. So as far as I know, but I know there's other bridges out there where you can like bridge other stuff, but like they're not really as trustworthy as the Pulse Chain bridge.
Yeah, it's kind of like the original and everything. There's Coast has gotten themselves back up and running, so that also works really well to just directly on ramp your fiat. Well, I should say it specifically in the U.S., right? But then also like there's a lot of other bridging methods you can use. Like especially like Portal X is one that I use on the average. Generally, what I do with that is the same thing that people always do, which is, like for me, it's crypto.com, but it could be like Coinbase or whatever, right? And I'll buy, generally for me, Matic, but you could also do AVAX or Phantom as well. And then simply go over to Portal X, and then you can bridge directly through there. Now, the thing is, you need to look at the pricings between Matic, AVAX, and Phantom beforehand with the direct amount that you're going to be buying, right? So if like the last time I did it, it was like $1,000, right? And I was like, okay, so how am I going to bridge this over here? And I tried Matic, and it didn't really work. And then I tried Phantom, it didn't work at all, right? And so then I went to AVAX, and I was like, oh shit, that works perfectly. Cool, that's a real cheap price. And I was able to bridge that one over. But I did that before I sent the money onto crypto.com for AVAX.
Yeah, I think there's also, I think, Spark Swap, right?
Yeah, Spark Swap. That's correct.
Spark Swap is okay. The problem with Spark Swap is you're stuck, and I don't know if they have improved this yet, because I kind of just left them alone because I don't use Binance Chain, but you basically have to use Binance Chain or AVAX. And AVAX, it tends to be a little bit more expensive on Spark Swap than Portal X that I've noticed. But again, they have made a lot of changes on there, so maybe my not touching them for a while has improved.
I used them for a while, but after the ETH fees went very low, like when we can catch them like under 2-3 Agüe, you might as well just use the official bridge with some USDC from Ethereum.
That is one thing I will admit that, like, I swore to God I would never use the original bridge ever again because of ETH. I was getting the hell away from Ethereum, and then all of a sudden I started noticing it's like $1 or $2 to bridge. And I was
it was like
this actually works.
Like 50 cents to approve, and then like a couple dollars of ETH to freaking actually bridge it over. So like you're like under $4 to bridge in as much as you want, basically. But when you use some of the other bridges, they charge you based on the amount of what you're bridging over. So there's a percentage cost. So if you're bridging a larger amount at the moment, like it just makes sense to use the post chain bridge over ETH, because they're not charging you a percentage. You're not getting charged anything by the bridge. You're just paying basically gas prices.
Yeah, absolutely. And
but you got to see when in time, like what fees we're here. Like it's going to vary from like week to week, day to day, month to month of what's the best option.
Yeah, it really does do that. So, but with that being said, we've been going on for 3.5 hours here. Yeah. Usually we only do 2. So, I don't know, Will, you are the host. You are the barkeep. Are you about to close the bar here?
Will, thanks for reminding me. I think I have one of the same type of keyboard. I forgot I didn't even turn my lights on it.
All right.
Is it an MSI?
Put it up to the microphone and click the keyboard. I want to see what we hear.
Yeah, no, it's loud as shit. Yeah, but I finally got him turned on.
That is not the loudest one we've heard tonight.
It's not as loud. No, it's not as loud as his.
Yeah, I'm leaving, so you guys won't ever have to hear it again.
Node's got the good one.
It's
Node's over there. He's actually
love.
got a
It
typewriter.
is nothing but love, brother.
He's rewired a typewriter to make the to work with the computer.
I want to say thank you guys for letting me on the show, and I really appreciate all you guys.
Dude, thank you for your time.
Listening to my rants about charts and macro and things of this nature. And yes, this is not financial advice. Remember that, guys. We're here to learn and continue to grow as people on these charts and build wealth for our families and, well, for ourselves, really, right, too?
Absolutely. Generational wealth, man.
Generational wealth.
We're here for.
All right, guys. Well, I'll catch you guys on the next one, and feel free to hit me up. If you guys want to talk about charts, let me know. I'm always here.
Okie doke.
Have a good
Hey,
night.
Prof. Real quick, Prof, what are your socials?
At Swing Trade Pros 1 on X and Discord. You can find me on Discord here. Discord.gg/Swing Trade Pros. Yep. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. Cheers.
Thank you very much, Professor.
Thanks, Node.
Have a good night.
X. All right. Peace.
All right.
Later, I am following that account. And
BlackSheep. I was gonna say thank you for bringing on that lab.
BlackSheep died.
He might have.
I think that Black Sheep had the little tiny white dog. I can't remember what it's called, but that's his.
He had one of them, and then Pulse Revision had two other the doodles. The golden,
okay.
He had one golden doodle, which was the big one, and he had a smaller one as well.
All right.
I will say this time mark 3 hours 28 minutes and 30 seconds for Crypto Black Sheep on the longest stream on Degen Roundtable. So hats off to you, brother. New record.
No, I think
you
it
beat
is.
yourself
Actually,
again.
you're right. I think
longest so far.
I think this is the longest live stream. The longest video we have, though, of course, is Tracker talking endlessly about liquid loans, though.
Look, I don't doubt that, but at the same time, if you tempt me for book club 1 week, we might run just like all of the versions or all of the volumes of Atlas Shrugged, and that will be quite the discussion.
No, we should do the entire of the Undergame series.
I was gonna say, if you, Mrs. Producer, if you actually want to get long, what we really should do is we need to do all of Dune. I'm not going to say that someone has provided me with all of the audiobooks free of charge per se, but there might be a way to get that. I'm just saying. If you want to spend 26 hours doing something.
Challenge accepted.
Jesus Christ. All right, and with that, we are about to head out, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, we are. Let's talk about the man under the bridge, if you will.
Farmer J?
If he comes back. If not, whatever.
So, while we wait for him to come back, I will go ahead and plug my own socials, and then at the end I'll plug the Degen Roundtable. So for you guys who don't know me, my name is Will Stevenson. You guys can find me at will.pls.fyi. That's where all of my personal socials can be stalked and found. You guys can go check out the shit that I post on Facebook. You can follow me on Twitter. You can snoop my Instagram for all sorts of silliness, and I think I even have a Threads thing over there. I can't remember, but that's basically my little post domain. You can find all my stuff there. If you guys want a copy of my Brothers Two of Them cookbook, I don't have any on me right now, but I've got like maybe 1 or 2 of them over in my truck. But yes, they look exactly like that. Thank you,
exclusive.
Yes, exclusive.
Limited
I also wrote
offer.
Another book. I don't know if I told you guys about this one, but I wrote a children's book called Magnus Motor's Magic Mouse, and it's a story about a little mouse that this is a story that my buddy told me. So there's like a little mouse right here, and I'm not going to give away too much of the plot, but essentially it's how a little mouse was climbed into my buddy's car maintenance shop and ate all their magic mushrooms, because it was up in Canada where it's legal. Ate all their magic mushrooms, ate a whole bunch of protein powder, and shenanigans ensued. So actually, I guess I can tell you guys the story, because I only printed 10 of these books because they were very expensive. But they were more expensive than I anticipated. But anyways, the mouse ate the mushrooms, and it goes around fixing the shop, like all the cars in the shop, and he repairs all the cars and is like carrying wheels around and stuff. It's super fun for the whole family. But anyways, I printed some of those books, and I made a cookbook and things.
Well, I'm not going to say that you make me question my value as a streamer online, because you are up on us, all of us at the Degen Roundtable, 2-0 as published author. Oh. So the rest of us, we got to get on this train. We got to start publishing some books.
Hey, I've had a lot of essays I've had to write in college and all that. Those might as well be books.
I mean, all you got to do is go to a book printing company and do it. Like, it's pretty easy. I Googled the process, and it was like, wow.
Easy. It's easy, is it?
It's easy. It's easy. We can spit out content like crazy, man.
You still got to get somebody to buy them, though.
Yes.
Well, if you want to sell them, sure.
Like your shitcoin, someone has to buy the shitcoin.
Yeah.
AKA, the book has to be good.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be good. Your reputation.
Excuse me.
Good,
the book has to be well marketed.
Yes. If your reputation is good enough that people want to buy your book, then good work. But if your reputation is good and then people buy the book and people are disappointed with the book, then your reputation kind of sinks a little bit.
Brother, your reputation is good as gold. I'll buy each of those.
Excellent. All right. Well, anyways, gentlemen, you guys can find all the work that I do over at will.pls.fyi or linktree/Will Stevenson. I haven't plugged that one in quite a bit. That's probably a more thorough collection of the work that I do and also my socials. The will.pls.fyi one, it will link to that link tree, and then the link tree will take you to like you can find the archive that I made for the Rule Zero podcast with like Rollo Tomasi, Ryan Stone, Sterling Cooper, all those dudes. I created a web archive for that a while back, and I think actually the domain might be expiring soon, so I should check on that. And then like I wrote a book about some things and yada yada yada. All that shit you can find over at linktree/Will Stevenson. But yeah, that's what I got going on. That's where you guys can follow me and all that stuff. And yeah, as far as stuff coming up in the near future, I'm not hosting this week's book club, but I will be hosting the next week's book club, which is the Toyota Way. Zenith, what is the book coming up for this book club in just 2 days?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. This Friday for book club, we are going to be covering the Book of Five Rings by Miyamoto Musashi. This is a traditional Japanese artist, aka one of the most famous swordsmen of the katana, aka the samurai. We're going to be covering his book, the basic version, not the complete Book of Five Rings. So, to put it in perspective, on Audible, if you get the basic version, it's 2 hours and 41 minutes at 1x speed, and the complete book is 5 hours and 3 minutes. This is definitely on the shorter end of the book clubs, which I'm not going to lie, is kind of nice because it's easy to dissect and it's easy to do the back end research to find all the arguments for, all the arguments against, and all the good quotes. So we will be bringing that to you, the good people, on Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the Degen Roundtable. So we hope to see you then. And then other than that, we have the usual Sunday stream on Sunday at 8 p.m. the same time. Wow, what a shocker. All the streams, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Look at that. Yes, we stream Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. That's what we got. Other than a very, very special announcement, which I'm going to leave for Mr. Nate McGettit to announce. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, you can find me on you can find me on Twitter and Instagram, or X if you will, at ZenithDI. That is where you can find me. Tag me in a spicy meme, a funny post, or just a good picture, and I will try to respond as much as I can. That is what I got. Mr. Nate McGettit, what is the special announcement for tomorrow? Or actually, how about this? Tease it.
Yeah.
Nice and gently.
Yeah, nice and gently. So we're not allowed to say anything yet. Okay, but this is an extreme, not yet, but tomorrow we are allowed to. There's an extremely important event going on for Pulse Chain people in general. Okay, it's just a tiny little get together type of deal, right? But we will be announcing the exact details tomorrow. However, we're only going to announce these details in our Telegram and on our socials. So if you're not following our socials, you're not going to see what it is and you're going to miss out. If you're not in our Telegram, you are also going to miss out. You do not want to miss out on this because you can actually get in early at this point with that. However, I will say possibly Friday, we will be announcing it publicly entirely when it comes to, say, the YouTubes and all that, right? For everybody to hear who is not subscribed to us and who doesn't want to for some weird reason, probably because you want to be poor. And I don't think it's going to be important to you anyways if you are one of those people. With that being said, though,
it's not your cup of tea, and that's okay. You know,
can you pin the message on the Telegram too, so we don't miss it?
Oh, brother, it's gonna be pinned.
We'll pin it, all right.
It's gonna be pinned and starred and promoted and SEO'd and promoted and on all of the profiles. Because I'm not gonna lie, I know Nate did a very, very good job of hyping it up, but this is honestly like the event that we are the most hyped for in 2025. I'll leave it at that.
Yes, absolutely. This is something that I'm not exactly one of those guys who is like, oh, I'm going to go do a thing. I'm going to go travel across the country to go see something. I'm definitely not one of those guys, but this is one of them I am straight up planning for, and I will pay to go. Anyways, so with that being said.
Oh, Will's going to be there. Will's going to be there.
Guaranteed.
Oh, guaranteed. Yeah. How about this? Are you guaranteed going to slice a ball into a water hazard?
What?
Are you going to hook something into the rough? Are you going to find a nice lateral hazard for the course? Are you going to play in and or out of bounds?
Golf is gay, bro.
Look, it might be. It might. Hey. It might be par for the course, but don't end
and
up.
With that, I'm gonna finish
as a
up
bogey.
With that, I'm gonna finish up. All right. So with that being said, also follow my Twitter.
I'm sorry. Was that too rough?
I went on a little bit of a
fringe content. Was that not green enough for you?
I went on a little bit of a thing earlier today with Twitter. There's a ton of information. Whenever I have the opportunity to be able to go through, I'm dumping as much information as possible. I found a whale. I found a pulse whale that is bridging over a lot of stables, and he's just sitting in the stables. And I wonder why he's doing that. Oh, by the way, this is not a Richard Hart wallet. This is a brand new wallet. Somebody we do not know. What have I been saying for a while about friends? Multi-millionaire or billionaire friends. So again, you guys absolutely, you need to follow me on my Twitter, and I'll keep you updated on a lot of different things happening around the world. It's right there in the chat. So go ahead, give me a follow. People are just continually following me, which is actually, I'm kind of surprised that I'm just putting out as much information as possible, and I keep getting these, oh, somebody's following you notifications, which is crazy. But I mean, they want the information and they're smart, so obviously they would do that. With that being said, though, I'm going to go ahead and move it over to Farmer Jay. What is going on? Where can the people find you? And yeah, what's happening, man?
They can find me no damn where, and that's about all I gotta say.
Yep. I bet you that if you guys chill on over at the Degen Roundtable thing, you might catch him. You might catch him chilling over there. But anyways,
Will, if you don't mind, can we ask the people to give us one last hashtag in the chat? It's a hashtag nowhere as a result of Farmer J. That's right. Hashtag nowhere. As in, I can't find my ball nowhere because I hit it so poorly. I do have to say, I have a bit of a shout out to Nate, which is that we do a little bit of research and screening. I know, shocker, right? But we do that over on the Degen Roundtable. Nate has legitimately found a wallet on the Pulse Chain Network that has over 6 figures in unmoved stablecoins. AKA, this is 6 figures theoretically worth of stablecoins that, I don't know, why would you put stablecoins onto the Pulse Chain Network other than to, I don't know, buy the Pulse Chain Network? As far as TVL goes,
7 figures altogether, by the way, too, that can easily be moved. All in ETH, by the way, as well. Just saying.
I don't want to steal your headline, brother. I'm trying to undersell it a little bit, so that way, like, you come in and you just like give them that punch out of socks, and they're just like, "Whoa, whoa!" I
got like $6 in the wallet.
Hey, let's go for everybody that's got $6 in a wallet. This applies to you. $6 and up. That is the club we are in. Pulse Chain, $6 and up. If you have $6 and up on a Pulse Chain wallet, guess what? We are probably the people that you like to hang out with. I mean, I would hope. I don't know, but I'm speculating because Nate has brought the receipts and he really does have the technical analysis on this. And this is good, really super sleuth work on it. So, with that being said, how many people? We have nowhere in the chat. So we have Daniel Robar. We have human hex trafficker. We have Degen Roundtable. We have 54 Cent.
There we go.
We have Will, Boo Will, and we have.
If I win, we'll just do it again.
Maybe not. We'll see. All right. Will, close this out. Run it for the final time. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for spending your time with us. We know that is your most valuable asset, so we hope to share some of that value back with you tonight through the form of Degen Protocol lottery tickets. I hope that's enough to satisfy you. If it is not, take it up with me next time you catch me in person at one of 2 events coming up, one of which may be announced in the near future. Other than that, Will, good sir. Please do.
Here we go, guys. We've got a total of 8 entries. 9 entries. Oh, someone slipped in right at the last moment.
Let's go, Glenn. Let's go, Hex Glenn. Show me. Oh, boo!
Oh, boo!
We're going
What the
again.
hell was that?
Boo!
We're still going, guys. Look, it didn't even stop. Isn't that
Boo! Daniel, there we go. Mr. Daniel Robar, hit me up on the Telegram. Send me that address, and I will send you a lottery ticket for the Degen Protocol lottery. Thank you so much for showing up. You are all the absolute best. I'm not gonna lie with you. I am going over. Will's been trying to close us out for literally the last half hour here, but I've been rambling. Nate has been rambling. Farmer has been rambling. Will even himself has been rambling. What? What was that?
I did nothing on the sword. I've been here quiet the whole time.
Allegedly. Allegedly. We know what you've been doing there. What was this? The underpass gang? Is that what we're calling it?
Farmer, get the arrow.
The old English
the arrow.
dictionary of
The arrow, farmer.
rambling is someone who goes on nice walks. So if you're a rambler, then you go on nice walks. And if you go
Tell you
on nice
what.
verbal walks with us, then
Join
you're a
that
rambler
Telegram.
that I want to see.
Look, just
Join
because of that,
Telegram.
just because of that, we might have the good Degen Roundtable ramble, which is a nice walk through a lovely area. It might be on the East Coast. It might be in a desert. Who knows? Except for us, because we know, because we got the invitation to put out some of the social media posts, and we might be delaying till midnight, and in which case 12 p.m. Eastern time is about 2 hours and 16 minutes away.
Ooh, is that the we didn't they said they wanted to do it on the socials first? Should we follow their lead? That seems
We
like
absolutely will follow their lead. However, this much. To Mr. Daniel Robar, he says, cheers, guys. Where do I message? Question mark. Zenith? Question mark. Good sir. Shoot me a DM on Telegram. You can find me in the QR code that is on screen right now over there. Sorry, Nate is covering my finger. Nate, can you give me a finger? Farmer J. Farmer J beat me to it. Go look at that arrow. Scan the QR code, get into the Telegram, find me there. I'm Zenith Crypto in the members channel. Shoot me a DM. I will hit you up and I will send you those tickets out. I know I said there was one ticket per person, but I'm going to be honest. I lied. There is multiple tickets per person.
All right. So listen, guys. I've given you the easy out. If you have one, then just click on the link that I posted that says t.me/Zenith Crypto. That's how you directly message him on not Instagram. What the fuck is that platform's name?
Hey, tell you what, Daniel Robar, he says to Mr. Daniel Robar, he says he cannot scan the QR code.
That's
which
correct.
means there's an issue with our QR code. So we will fix it and we will make it right for you the next time that we can, and we will let you know. We're trying to build the best possible product that we can for our customer is the correct answer, but as of right now, it is free to get in the Telegram. I will repeat that, like Farmer J is showing.
I fixed the arrow. Do not go to that link.
Wow, it doesn't scan. That's not good. I wonder how long we've been saying that.
My arrow.
Yeah. This is good QA or quality assurance, which is you got to put the product out there, you got to test it. Thank you to Daniel Robar.
Frank
I got
White
you, brother.
work for him.
I think.
Frank White got it.
Work? Oh, not again.
Oh, made it full screen.
Technology.
Oh, yeah, mine's super tiny. Hang on.
Ladies and gentlemen, not to give you too much of the inside baseball per se, but like these are kind of the growing pains when it comes to building a technology brand on the internet, which is you got to learn how to do it. And are we learning how to do it? Theoretically, yes. But I'm also going to lie to you at the same time and say, oh, no, we've always known how to do that. We are the
just
best.
put the link
There's
in the chat.
no one
So
better
guys,
than
just
us.
go ahead, click on the link. Click on the link. Bam, right there. It'll send
Correct.
you right in. Easy peasy.
Follow this guy right here. Nate has got it right here. God. Nate, thank you. You're the best. Will,
I got my squeaky chair over here,
take it
too.
away.
All
Will,
right, guys.
when people spend time with us, what do we think about that?
Well, we think that. Well, I'll say that I want to thank all of you for spending your valuable time with us here on the Degen Roundtable. And as Agent J says, we know that time is your most valuable asset. Mrs. Producer, go ahead and get that trigger finger ready. I want to remind all the folks at home to remember to Degen responsibly.